but I'm using the Crossing Zebras RSS feed, so it's kind of both, I guess.
See, that's how fair and balanced we are here. You know what I mean? This is what the Imperium News is all about. Brings you some shit from around the way. And we've also got Jay McLean. Jay McLean dropped in on us, hot dropped us. What's
Oh
up?
shit.
What up, homie?
Yo.
What's going on, man? Another day in McLean paradise.
Every day, man.
Every day. Have you worked your way through the 15 dozen eggs that your wife bought?
I think we're down to like we got 3 dozen left.
God damn, man. Protein.
It's cheap protein.
Anyways, we should be having Graf Telkin here.
That's the one I was gonna wait until he actually showed up to say anything.
But... Well, he's supposed to be here, but you know what? It's just like, freaking Graf, man. Yeah, he's probably
now
out,
he's not
like,
going to show up. You jinxed it.
He's probably out getting like the last, squeezing out the last bit of Rorqual mining that he can, with high yields before he has an aneurysm or whatever. But anyways, so we're gonna hold off on talking about that. We've actually got quite a bit to talk about this week. I mean,
there's several actual like Eve updates as well to talk about.
Well, that's what I mean. Is is that CCP? We've got multiple either changes that are coming or proposed changes that are coming that CCP kind of announced out there and is looking for feedback on. What's up, Minx? And and of course we've got drama. So tonight, basically, everything that happens here, we're just gonna let it happen because that's the theme of the show. The theme of the show is just letting it happen.
Can you say that? Is that some kind of like twist thing?
You can. And
it sounds very rapey.
Well, I mean, it could, or it could just sound
rape?
like, letting anything happen. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I almost fell down the stairs, and my wife says, just let it happen. Like she wasn't looking, to rape me, but whatever.
Make your bones jello.
Anyways, but we'll get to that in a bit because we always like Reddit drama and pretty much any drama that can kind of like cook up out there that really gets people freaking and whatnot. So we've got in that regard we kind of got two things, right? We got the Rorqual change and we've got that little bit of thing, which is so funny. Well, we'll get to it afterwards because last week I think it was late after the show we got to talking about that crazy article I wrote back in 2013. That had to do with the name change, the naming policy. So it was just funny that this shit erupted this week. But I don't know. You know what? Why don't we start it off a little bit light? Okay, a little bit easy, right? One of the things that they came out with this week was a proposal regarding changes to mobile warp disruption bubbles.
Well, yeah, okay. I was gonna say that's actually a fairly decent change.
There's some butthurt about that, though.
Right. Well,
of course
there always is.
Because when I first read it, I was looking at the warp disruption, the scrambling script, like the single, like they used to call it the infinite point.
Well, that's a different
thing.
I know.
It's because it has warp and either disruption in it.
Well, I know, but there's the warp disruption focus one, and then there's the warp scrambling focus.
But what
are we talking about Dichter bubbles or anchored bubbles?
We are talking about anchored bubbles.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I thought we were talking about the Higter bubbles.
No, we'll talk about that in a moment. The script, but right now we're talking about bubbles. That basically they're putting a decay on these things, or they're proposing a level of decay. Differences between Tech 1 bubbles, Tech 2 bubbles, and then the Syndicate faction bubbles. That I'm trying to think here now. I think what was it? 2 days? 2 days for Tech 1 bubbles.
I got it here. 2 days for T1. 1 week for T2s, 2 weeks for all syndicate bubbles.
Right. So regardless of size, I mean, this is the initial proposal, people. So if you have issues with this, you should go out and kind of comment on the forums or I don't know, get some Reddit flame thread going or wherever it is that CCP listens to these things these days. But they're putting decay on there that basically, look, if you want to go out there and build your freaking, wall between, one gate to the other or whatever, your big giant Trump wall of bubbles, you're gonna have to do some maintenance to these things, and you can't just let bubbles sit out there forever without you picking them back up, before they fully decay and dying. You're going to have to pick them back up and then put them back down again, which has got some people really kind of raged up. This is also this is meant to be a temporary solution. Okay. And everybody needs to keep this part in mind. Temporary solution until they get around to basically creating a structure that is like a bubble. Because that they can add a bunch of different things to. Maybe it would take fuel, maybe it would have some other quality to it that is sort of a maintenance thing. But the short-term solution here is to just put decay on the current bubbles.
Renter
think
bubble
the
gates.
the more important issue is that it's gonna create a kill mail now, so which is probably gonna make you think twice, because if you're putting these bubbles up like around the gate or something, your kill board is gonna fill up with all lost mails.
Yeah, and I want to find the system that Fozzie tweeted out that has 4.5 billion in bubbles.
Yeah, he did. He tweeted out. He said there was a system out there that I think it was 4.8 billion or something like that worth of bubbles.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, man, walls ain't cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone's gonna pay
It's
for
hard to
it.
get the enemy to pay for it, but
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
well, that is one of the other things, right? Is that killing bubbles will also generate a kill mail. So I mean, I gotta be honest, that would kind of help me. I know that when I'm in a fleet, especially a sizable fleet, if I'm in a fleet of just a few people, then okay, yeah, I'll shoot the bubble or whatever. But if I'm there with 200 guys or 150 guys,
I'm not wasting my ammo.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not even about wasting ammo. It's more about I'm too lazy to
I'll
target
just
the
burn
bubble.
through it,
Somebody
yeah.
else will shoot it.
But I mean, the kill mail thing,
You could probably burn out faster than you could shoot it.
to people that actually care about kill mails, it's probably a big thing because I mean, some of those bubbles are pretty expensive, and they actually care about that. But I don't. I just like the fact that they're that they're gonna have these things decay, because you just need to have some kind of upkeep. And one of the things I think you were saying, Dirk, that instead of maybe having a decay, make them take a type of fuel to where you have to you can drop them and they'll stay, but you have to fuel them. And if the fuel runs out, they'll stay anchored, but they'll turn off and they won't project the bubble. So that way you can have these permanent bubble walls, but they require upkeep and money. So you have to pay to have those things.
Well, okay, and again, that's why I was saying that is a future possibility, right? They're going to have more flexibility and potentially more options when they go down the path of creating a structure. Right now, what they're looking for is a temporary solution to existing bubbles. So that means it really has to be something that is not a lot of time consumed with rewriting code or adding a whole lot of new code involved, right? So that and when you look at the thread out there, you have all these people that are like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's like, okay, go back to the beginning and read temporary until we get to these other things.
Yeah.
I don't know. That scares me, because temporary means it's no longer an issue that people are
Well,
A
talking
lot
about.
of times
it's a
their
Band-Aid.
temporary changes. A lot of times their temporary changes stay until forever because they never get back around to it. Temporary
long
becomes
time.
very permanent.
Why would they? If they take the heat off the issue, there's no reason to go back to it right away, right? I mean, it's not like they don't have a bunch of stuff that needs to be developed.
Well, okay, so if the option is this, right? We do nothing. We leave them like this until we finally get around to it. I think basically what they're signaling is, look, we don't have any intention of turning these things into structures right now, and probably in the near term, because we have other things that we're working on, like drilling platforms and other large scale structures. But when we do get to it, we do have it in our plans to get to these things being structures.
Well, what about the structures, right? They're going to come out with this drilling platform. That's the third series of structures. There's still 3 more to go, isn't there? Don't they have reconnaissance or information towers that need to go up, and then gates and then billboards, right?
Well, I was gonna get to Sherar's thing. Sherar's asking,
I was gonna say Sherard, yeah.
why are bubbles a problem anyway? Just kill them, no big deal. How is this a big change? It's not a big change for the one, like the gate camp that has a bubble set up, like a drag bubble or something like that. Those aren't the problem. The problem is when you're wanting to go roaming, and you go through these areas where it's just they're populated by miners, and literally every gate you go to has 25 large bubbles anchored around every gate. So every time you get to a gate, you have to burn through 40 kilometers of bubbles, and then you jump through, then you have to burn through another 30 kilometers of bubbles, and then you do the next thing on the next gate, which, the miners aren't going to kill you, so it's not a big deal there, but you can't just kill them all because killing, 20 or 30 large bubbles will take you hours.
Well, listen, I wasn't trying to derail. I was saying there's 3 new structures coming there. And the first one is probably going to be these information towers. And you can probably say, I wonder if that could be one of the powers that's built into them, is that they can produce jamming mechanisms to kind of slow people down at gates, So you roll this problem into the next structure.
Maybe. Maybe.
Why don't they just have the bubbles need fuel like Stromp instead of decaying and exploding? You have to keep them fueled.
That's probably... I imagine that's probably code they want to get rid of if you're going to use like pause code for that sort of thing.
I really think that okay.
I don't know. I'm not a code. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's not even that. But like what I was trying to say before, they're trying to make a simple thing here, okay, that generally fixes what is being professed to be an issue out there. That bubbles get laid down, they last for 30 days or something like that if nobody shoots them, with no additional effort on behalf of the people putting them down. Now, a bubble here or a bubble there really doesn't matter. That's not really what anybody cares about, because in a way, those are semi-abandoned or whatever.
24 hours sounds fine, right? Is that what they're trying to lower it to?
What? No,
it's 2 days for a T1.
Right. But
and then
they're
a week
not
for
going to go into an incredible amount of other coding in order to do these other things like add fuel to the equation. So it's one of those things of, if you think this is something where it can get you, I don't know, maybe halfway, in a rudimentary way, to putting some effort into it other than anchor and walk away forever. Does this act as a temporary solution, or is it better to do nothing now?
I would like to know the arguments for 2 days for T1 and a week for T2. That seems awfully long, even though now it's super long.
Yeah, but look at the training time to get into like a T2 bubble, like a large.
And probably the cost.
Well,
ridiculous.
And the cost difference between it.
It's like if you're gonna spend that much money, you should probably get a little bit of benefit out of it.
Who the hell is Imperium News right now? Is that Boat, or is that actually
probably
Boat?
No, it's not Mittens. I don't think he ever really logs in on that.
But
or would come on this
show.
Oh,
it might be Skeptic.
It could be Skeptic.
Yeah, it's Skeptic probably. I don't know. I think that quick fix. Yeah, don't introduce fueling. Although I think that's a really cool idea. I literally think you just change the timers down. That's got to be the easiest thing for them to do.
Well, it wouldn't be like, I don't know, everybody talks about code, and they're like, oh, it'd be a coding nightmare to try and add something. Like, it's not a coding Mount Everest to put a fuel decay timer on something.
It's well, hold on.
I don't know.
Not to put a fuel decay timer on something necessarily, but it's not like these things have fuel bays on them now. It's not like they have anything even remotely like that. So, I mean, you begin to, it's not just about, putting a fuel decay timer on or a fuel usage. It's about the whole idea.
You give it a cargo bay, and
where do you put the fuel? Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this doesn't sound like the amount of effort that they want to put into it if somebody wants a temporary interim kind of solution.
Graf's here.
What's up, Graf?
Yo.
I had to get pot roast, man. I'm going to be a little late.
Pot roast?
Yeah. Been cooking since this morning.
Nice.
I thought you were lost somewhere in the wastelands of fucking Minnesota, bro.
No, I'm not going. It's actually been pretty fucking nice here lately. It's been like 50 degrees. All the snow's gone.
Drayden, you're going to
no
need
reason
to
not to get to the gym.
your TeamSpeak capture window so that you can see.
Oh, right.
I think Skeptic's going to come too. So
we were talking about the proposed changes to warp disruption bubbles.
I actually don't think they went quite far enough. I think they should be the decay should be significantly faster than what they've suggested.
Right, like 24 hours.
Yeah, they should die within a day.
That I mean, having looked at the forum in the first couple days out there, that seemed to be kind of where people were headed, was that this is too long. Number one, they had a bunch of issues, related to the syndicate bubbles, that generally these things are just too expensive and not used anyways. But most of the people are like, make it even less, or as well as, don't just tie it to Tech 1, Tech 2, also tie it to size. And there were actually a couple different opinions on that out there, that maybe larger bubbles should be a shorter decay rate, a shorter decay time than small. which I thought was odd, but they kind of had their reasoning. But that basically small bubbles, small T1 should have its own decay rate on up to large. I think that's something that they should consider and wouldn't be completely.
The longer
So,
training should
completely
give you
Your
Yeah, fine.
argument is like adding a fuel bay and a cargo bay is too hard, but you want to give each individual bubble a different coating for its decay rate?
Well, I'm sure that's like, I mean, in coding, that may be just one number you change, like
Maybe. It just
Yeah,
seems more complex.
I mean, they theoretically already have that in there, right? Because these things do disappear after, I think it's 30 days. So all it is a matter of tweaking whatever that number is and for that item.
Yeah. And
There's a bigger problem that they had with a bunch of like stuff that's got going on right now. Like a Citadel, you don't have to fuel it at all. You can buy it one time. The cheapest one's like 800 million or something like that. You deploy it, you anchor it. The simple process that you just did, you spent $800 million and you anchored this thing one time. It made it through its anchoring cycle, and now you have a permanent safe spot where you can never be bothered at. You don't have to do anything at all to get the tether to work. It's just instantly going to heal you, repair you in a permanent state. And then we've got the bubbles. They just last forever. It just doesn't make any sense. Just put everything here has a fuel bay or a cost to run it, except for certain really frustrating items. And the idea that you can put up a bubble and leave it there for a week isn't any better than leaving it there forever. You should have to if you want to put 100 bubbles on the gate, I'm down to let you, but you should have to do it every fucking day.
Yeah, it should be a session, right? Like we're going to have a mining fleet today, so let's bubble up our gate. Or I'm going to go ratting today. Let me do some prep work in the morning so guys can rat all day long. But it's kind of like a, are we doing this or not kind of thing. I think the problem is that if something becomes too taxing, like, oh no, I got to do the saran wrap thing around the gate first, then it becomes less incentive to get out there and do things. I don't know. That's kind of a weak comment.
and I mean, look, obviously you did have those kinds of remarks out there. What are you trying to do? These people, they'll just stop doing it out here if they can't rat and mine without worrying about somebody coming by. They're just going to leave
It's
and go
always
back
turned
to
out
high
to be
sec.
a lie, though.
It does.
Like,
I mean,
it's always turned out to be a lie.
Doesn't
They're
this
gonna
always
rat.
come down to the
anybody
same
willing
argument
to
of
put that
like,
much effort?
isn't this almost the same argument though as like wormholers being like, oh, there shouldn't be a local and null, and like, you know what I mean? It's one side of the equation just being like, I hate bubbles, so get rid of bubbles.
I don't want to get rid of them though. I actually think.
Well, you want to
I'm
nerf
a
them
big
down like to the max,
Right.
whereas
I don't know. No, I don't want to. I don't want to mess with their function at all. I want to mess with like, why should they stay there so long? Cans don't even stay there that long.
Well, yeah, I love the bubble mechanics. It's one of the things I like about nullsec. That's one of the reasons why I don't like PvPing in low sec is because you can't bubble and catch people. And so I mean, like, if they put enough stabs on, you just can't catch the guy. Period. So I love bubbles. I like bombs as well. But I agree that it's like
to have bubbles in low sec. That would be awesome.
It's really annoying. Like I posted a link that LB put in TeamSpeak, and this is an extreme case, but there's probably 50 plus large bubbles on that one gate. When you see something like that and you get into the system and there's nobody in the system, like everyone's logged off, but it's like, well, that's pretty fucking annoying.
And that's what the changes are meant to negate, is that if you throw something like that up, you're going to have to go and maintain that. If you throw up all T1 bubbles, you're going to have to go back, pick them all up, put them back down, and then go back and do whatever the fuck you're doing.
Right. Well,
or abandon them as disposable,
Here's an interesting idea. Tie the bubbles to the ADM in the system. If you got a one ADM,
I'm even okay with that.
Last
That's even better.
12 hours.
That's a good idea.
There's no ADM. If there's no ADM at all, like if you don't own Saab, the bubble shouldn't just naturally sit there for the rest of your natural born fucking existence. That's
exactly.
Now the other thing that obviously came up with the discussion on bubbles, nullification. And it's like, oh, for the love of God, just because they bring up bubbles, it's like it's like every third comment had to be something about nullification. And Grath, I think you were actually one of the first ones in there, with that, where I think you said something about
you get rid of everything, but every center. I think it gave interceptors a really unique role during fleet combat that they didn't have necessarily before, and maybe even couldn't have. But then I was like, well, T3s can have it, and they got some stupid ass luxury shuttle that has it. Why don't we have a battleship that has it yet? I figure we should work our way
Don't
up to
make
that by
fun
now.
of the Victoria luxury yacht.
I think
thing's
the piece
amazing.
of garbage. I
It's
hate
the
it.
best.
Do you remember back when? Okay, back when nullification. Well, I mean, the first nullification that was introduced was
T3s.
with the Tech 3 cruisers. But then when they came out with it for interceptors, it was to be combat related. That that was kind of the reason behind it. That, look, these are ships that are meant to be tackle. And stuff like that. Now, obviously, we know the offshoot of that is the the unlockable travel scepter. But what regarding the combat part,
It's not really a thing, though, isn't it? It's a myth.
what's that?
No, you can hit those travel scepters.
The unlockable combat scepter is not
They're
real.
pretty well. At first, they were certainly not lockable.
Yeah, because they were under.
You can lock them.
You can still get them.
And even if you can't get them on the one gate, it's a pretty simple process to set a smart bomb and battleship 6 kilometers off the out gate. Most interceptors are brazen and retarded. They just warp gate to gate like no big deal. Well, that's what I'm pointing. If it's fit to avoid your camp on the first gate, it will die to the smart bomber on the out gate. If it's not fit to avoid that first gate, it'll die on that in gate. And it wouldn't have probably died on the out gate because it's probably got more than just travel.
I don't know why people are
mods
freaking
that-
out about the nullification of them anyway, because they kind of fit with Fozzie anyway.
There you go. People complaining don't know the strategy that Graf just laid out, probably.
Well,
He just
but-
explained
but
it though. I mean,
my
Now they
question
do.
my question related to that was that about really being nullified on the grid, in combat, or was it more about getting through gates to be able to chase somebody down, or was it both?
huh?
I never heard anything about it being for chasing people down, but the instant use that we all had for it in the beginning was that you could move fleets suddenly around. Like being a combat interceptor on grid in a 2,000 man fight suddenly became a thing that wasn't suicidal because you warped in your little 2,000 hit point frigate to the middle of 1,700 people. You could come in at range without being worried about sucked into a bubble. I mean, everything that comes after that travel. At some point, you're going to want people to be able to have some ability to travel around. And I think an interceptor is probably an okay level of entry for that. It's not very hard for younger players to get to per se. But they just went too far. Like that luxury yacht's insane. Thing's the size of a cruiser and it moves like a Ferrari.
It's so good. You can't put guns
It
on
is
it.
a
So
luxury yacht, right?
Which one is
Yeah,
that?
you're swinging around your
The
giant
Opus
space penis
luxury
when
yacht.
you're in
And,
that.
The-
like yachts
yeah,
are
the
big and slow. I don't know any
Victorinox or
high-speed
something
yachts.
like that.
Graf, is that a gift or something?
It was a blueprint that you got, and I'm trying to remember what it was for at that time.
I did my part and threw mine in the trash.
No
But
way.
anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on the bubble thing. We were just letting people know. We are going to do a shot here, though. So whatever. Drink it if you got it.
Oh, shit, I'm not pre-poured.
I don't know. Jesus.
I
One
didn't know
guy
Rain
actually
was
came
here.
at me. He was like, he says that the removal of nullification has implications against probing and something else that you haven't even thought of. No, I actually have thought about it. I don't feel like you should be immune at all. Like there should be a chance you can get caught when you're out probing. I don't think anything that probes should be nullified in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I remember
It's like,
back
it's
in the
like
day.
any,
how
every
exciting
game
it
ever.
was.
There's always a way to counter something else, and in Eve, there's ways to get around that, and it shouldn't be.
Anyways, here's a shot. I don't know. What the fuck are we doing this to? I don't know. Do a shot. Shots to doing shots.
Yep.
I mean, I
Shots
remember
to
back,
recreational
I remember back in the
marijuana
day-
laws in the United States come Monday.
Wait, what?
Hey,
He's going to go after him.
he's gonna go after him. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Are we going
Um,
political again?
No,
The
it-
nullified
gets
scepter
serious
thing,
so
I'm
fast.
fine with though, because when it first came out, I was one of those people that griped like, "That's bullshit, that's broken." But I don't know, maybe it's just that now it's been out for so
I think
long
it
that
is.
I'm used to it.
I think
Because now it's like,
I think it
it's a
is.
fine
Back in the
scouting
day-
tool and shit.
back in the day, you know what? If you wanted to be able to, let's say traverse space or whatever, you got yourself into something that was a Covops, and while you could cloak up, right? Gangs could wait, and some people were good about being able to decloak you before you warped off. There was still that risk associated with it. there's just not as much risk now, with travel scepters.
Yeah, Danko and Mr. Rive are both phenomenally good at it.
So I mean, I think that there was a degree of skill. Now, sometimes we talk about these things and we sit there and talk about levels of complication and kind of what is more realistic, and that doesn't make any sense. It's kind of risk-free or whatever. I don't know. In the case of something like, say, the travel scepter, does it really matter that somebody is trying to get from point A to point B in this game and like zoom there and not get killed, just so they can do something real?
Well, in a way,
or do
maybe.
We want travel to be this
No,
kind of
because it's
hindered
counterable.
Well, in a way, maybe, because part of the whole reason of
It's
gate
fucking
camping is
travel
to
scepter.
like the whole function of gate camping is catching people that are going from point A to point B. That's the whole point of gate camps.
I don't think you're.
But
I
there's
don't
a way to
think
do
you're
it.
gonna
You can
catch
have
my
instant.
scepter.
You can have instant
I don't think you're
going
going to catch my scepter or
like
kill it
Rat
with one
said,
battleship.
you don't put one battleship. You put a couple on each gate, and then when buddy comes through and warps, you just tell the guys which gate he's going to.
I've gotten
I used to do it by myself.
I've gotten through gates that smart bonding battleships were on and just blasting their bombs in my scepter, and it never got hit by a single.
You run into those.
It never got hit by a single one.
Don't know what they're doing.
I was gonna say they might have just not been doing it wrong, but I could tell you right now, I was panicking a bit. I was like, shit, I might die here. Because, when you jump through a gate, there's like 50 people sitting on there with a bunch of interceptors and bubbles. You're like, yeah, no problem. I can warp in like half a second. They'll never catch me. But
yeah, those are people that don't know what they're doing. Anybody that does it properly, like fits a travel scepter, warps it to the gate, counts. And like when the buddy tells them like buddy warped, they fucking start the timer and they you can do it. It's pretty simple. And you can do it with one battleship.
And you can't. I'm gonna tell you right now, you cannot kill my fucking interceptor. That is going to warp off from most goddamn people with one battleship. You're just not going to fucking do it. It's just not
how much
gonna
HP it is have?
8 smart bombs, 8 large smart bombs going off at one shot will probably alpha a scepter.
That will 100% kill you.
The thing is, like, it has to hit you with that tick before. It has to hit you with that damage tick before you go through the gate.
Like if you don't have your best case scenario is you've got a damage control fit and you're in like a Galente interceptor or something like that.
Exactly.
Or you have maybe a Caldari one
that's one less inertia stab you got.
But like in that case, if you get hit by somebody who's got a full rack of EM smart bombs, the Caldari interceptor is going to go down. Like it does. Like there are ways. If you are not fit for combat, you will die to a smart bombing battleship.
Absolutely.
If you are fit for combat, you will die to the remote sensor boosted Hictor that was on your end gate. Like,
I don't know.
You don't get to get away from both, and that's kind of like the trade off for him right now.
That's
somebody might be tethered off their cell phone in a cafe in Dubai or some shit like that. Maybe you get around them because they've got some craptastic, cellular internet or some shit like that. But generally speaking, anybody that's playing on a decent internet connection can rig up a ship that will catch a non-travel fit interceptor. A travel fit interceptor will get away, but it will always die to the smart bombs.
We're still on the two tick rule for being able to lock and point. Right?
You want to see a really good example of it? Just go check out Project Mayhem. I don't really like Project Mayhem guys. Like I think they're kind of pussies and all, et cetera, blah blah, bitch made. But they're really good at having about 5 guys on the in gate and a Macarial on the out gate, and they get a phenomenal number of fucking travel interceptors when they go through their low sec system. Like, I mean, just tons of them. And the other set that they don't get that the Macarial doesn't smart bomb, they catch on the in gate with the remote sensor boosted ships. There are low sec groups that have it down to a science. Like you're either getting caught by one or you're getting caught by the other. And I've fucking Benny Hilled around a system dodging that Macarial for half an hour and still died to his bitch ass. Like,
I've died to
they're
Proteus
really good
doing
at it.
Like they're fucking good at it. Like Project Mayhem got me a ton of times when I lived in Tribute.
And Cancer Sleeples can still catch you.
All right, since we're 34 minutes in, regardless of the fact that I will get by with my travel scepter on anything that drunk Canadian can put out there, I'm going to switch this over real quick to warp disruption field generators. Okay, they're scripted, as people know. Either you're running Bubble or you are running scripts. The current state of scripted warp disruption field generators is a little too oppressive. Oppressive, people. Just so you know that is code word.
Isn't that the whole point?
That is code word for warp disruption field generators are racist. But
isn't that the whole point? When you have to train that long to get into one of those?
Yeah.
Well,
Just saying.
the thing with
They
these
use the
changes,
word
Systemic
oppressive.
oppression.
all right. So first off, the changes are
systemic oppression from warp disruption field generators. We'd like to open up propulsion module options as such. We're going to make some changes. These are: remove the warp scrambling effects from the focused warp disruption script. So right now, if you were in a heavy dictor and you were running the Infinipoint script, it would not only be an Infinipoint, but it would also shut down micro warp drives. And then
It should though. That ship
Well,
is
hold on.
designed to point.
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
but what they're saying is we're gonna
And
have
it's
two,
not easy
we're
to
gonna
train
have
into.
two different
Okay, I gotta walk
scripts.
away.
We're gonna have two different scripts in the future, is what they're proposing here. No, I'm sorry. This is well, they want your feedback, but in March we're releasing some balance tweaks, is what they're saying. I don't think
That's
you're gonna be able to talk
fine,
them
right?
out
I
of
mean,
this.
to be honest, so the Hictor outclasses the Galente ships that have the same basic function, right? Like in every way conceivably possible. Ships that were designed to point and designed to be bonus with scramblers perform worse than a true Sanchez long hit point, which goes out to 40 kilometers, and shut your micro warp drive down. You just weren't using micro warp drives. There was an intent in game design that between, say, 13 kilometers and 24 kilometers, combat would happen with micro warp drives involved because you couldn't be scrammed, you'd be in point range, et cetera, and that was gone because generally it went too far the way they wanted Hicks in combat. Now Hicks are always in combat, and nothing within 40 kilometers gets to jump, gets to micro jump drive. It can't micro warp drive. It can't do any of that shit, and it oppressed every other ship that had the same kind of role, as well as any prop mod that wasn't an oversized afterburner.
Right,
I believe it's okay for them to remove that and make it scriptable. It's a smart play. It's an easy fix. You still get either a 40 kilometer long point that leaves their micro warp drive on, or you get a short range. I'm assuming you're doing faction, of course, or you get a short range scram that will shut their micro warp drive off, and it still leaves both room for hack play. Like, you're not going to fucking fly a Vagabond right now because you're going to get pointed by a Hick in 6 seconds and die. It leaves room for hack play where they can take advantage of their bonuses, and it still leaves room for Galente ships who are designed to do a specific role to shine. I understand why they're doing all of it. I don't necessarily find any problem with any of it. Well, some people probably will.
The thing with the Hicks is, like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't know that people really used Hicks for the single point function. I thought it was like you used it for the bubble. Like
No. 40 kilometer scrambler. Let me show you my harmonics.
Well, yeah, but you could, like you said, you can use the Galente ships that get even longer than that.
No, they don't, though. That's the point. Like, there's no Galente ship that can scramble anything out to 40 kilometers. Like,
Even the ones
scramble
with the
turns
bonus,
off your
put a
micro...
faction point on, and like maybe have some
can't
boosts
do
on it or something.
Can't do it.
Still doesn't reach, huh?
Nothing beats the true Sancha Hictor for scramble range. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, somebody might come in and be like, look, you can do this with this thing that I pulled out of my ass. And maybe you'll find it. Like,
I haven't really used. I mean, I've used the Amar Hictor, and I only used it as like a bubble machine, so I never really did any the play with the long point, so I'm not sure. But
basically,
No, it's not
what
a long
they're doing
point,
is
it's a scrambler, bro.
I mean, look, it was a long point, right? It was it was a long point before that also allowed shutting down a micro warp drive, and now what they're basically saying is we're introducing a new script. It will be a scramble script. Okay. The T2 version will be, I guess, base 20 kilometers. All right. So then any bonuses that are added on top of that, that will be one that will shut down micro warp drives. They're just differentiating between super long point and scramble on a Hictor.
Think of it like scripts for a damp. You got,
yeah, I think that's
just
a good way to do it.
I just feel like it gives them an out, and it allows some of the gameplay to function while allowing some. And yeah, it does present problems with ships like Orthrus's right now, which are fairly easily countered by Hicks, and you'll have to go back to trying some different stuff with those. But I mean, they have really shitty. Like, just put a damp on one. Suddenly, he can't fucking point you from 60 kilometers and has to come in the scram range. Oh fuck! Look, we win.
I think it still brings, even kiting ships back to even more OP, but that's just what I see in this change.
I mean, it's definitely a buff to kiting. Don't get me wrong. Like, but it's gonna allow some different. Like right now, everything kites with a big ass afterburner or some dumb shit like that because everybody's petrified of being scrammed all the time. Well, I mean, with good because everybody's scrammed all the time. Like I do a lot of solo roaming and marauders. The first thing to do if there's no logistics there is to force the stupid ass Hictor out to about 37 kilometers so I can use my micro jump drive and get around a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, like they can't really tank you hard enough while their points active to stay in range. So you force them out to range, and then you can move some. That's the only way that really works. Same concept with logistic ships. If I'm roaming by myself and somebody comes in and they have a Logi with me, if I can force the Logi out to range, I can sometimes fast switch and kill a guy up close because reps at range suck now.
Yeah.
And it's actually been it's kind of a benefit, but yeah, it sucks being scrambled all the time by everything. It's like, hey, I'm going to use a micro warp drive in Demos. Nah, not really, because I got scrammed at 40 kilometers and kited and died.
But honestly though, did people really use afterburners before they came up with that whole idea of scram shutdown micro warp drives? Were afterburners really a thing?
When I get scrammed, I don't use an afterburner because I usually get webbed as well. So what are you doing?
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. There were never afterburners used before they changed this, but that change had so much other stuff in it that you can't necessarily attribute the scrambler shutting off micro warp drive. That was the entire nano change.
Yeah, the nano tanking nerf.
Yeah, where you used to just drive as fast as you possibly could to mitigate damage.
Yeah.
Well, and Shrar's saying that if the long point, it shouldn't stop while warping. Then if it can't stop a simple MWD, it shouldn't stop a cat from jumping. But if you look at the regular long points, like not the scramblers, but the warp disruptors, stop stuff from jumping, but don't.
Yeah.
Well,
you can.
The caps, I guess, it won't. You won't stop a
Right,
cap.
but we're talking about Hictors here. I mean,
well, I know we're talking about
That's the
Hictors. He
whole
was just
point of
bringing
the
up that
Hictor
point,
is
so I was just saying that.
Tackle caps.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, even if you can't, even a single disruptor will stop a ship from jumping, right? It just won't stop it from warping
If it's got
away.
enough of a strength now, because the capitals have different jump strength or warp strengths now, I guess.
But yeah. Anyways, I don't think that this is that big of a deal. They're adding this script in, and it'll be, I don't know. This whole, it was just funny. The beginning of it, right? Is a little too oppressive. It's like, oh my god, I'm not sure it's exactly oppressive, but and this, and the scramble's going to have about 20% less range. I mean, it's not like your range is really being sliced and diced down to nothing, right? I mean, you're still going to have reasonable range for what is ostensibly, a scram that nothing can get away from.
Yeah, because what they say, the 21 or the faction was going to go 21 kilometers. Pretty good range on a scram still.
Yeah, you'll get a little farther on dedicated ships, but I mean, that's the idea. Dedicated to scrambling. It's not like a Hictor. Hictor is multi-purpose. It's a tackle ship. The fact that it could even script its bubble is fucking amazing because it couldn't do that forever.
But anyways, I threw the link in the Twitch chat. If you've got some comments to make on this, feel free. It's got the stats in there and all that kind of fun stuff. But I do want to get to, while we are still of sane mind and body, what I think might be the big change of the week. And no, it is not CCP's reversal on name changes that are related to the allusions to rape. It is about the rapage of the Rorqual.
Yep.
The Rorqual that post Phoebe was that 2014 or 2015?
15. I think it was 15.
15, right? 15. When it basically put the Rorqual in hibernation for pretty much anything other than sitting in a pause and giving off-grid mining boosts.
It's never done anything but that.
I know a lot of people that use it for tower fueling.
It used to be the poor man's jump freighter. It was a half-size space truck.
Yeah. It was a lot of people I knew used.
So nothing.
They would use it for POS fueling. And
that's
stuff like
all
that.
I used it for was POS fueling.
Yeah,
people would crunch rocks.
Great, so it's a gas truck for your POS.
Right,
dude. Back in the day, I used to use the Rorqual to haul my buddies' mining ships when we would go to this ice mining system that it was we'd go on a day of ice mining and I would haul their ships for them.
Don't forget about clones. I move clones in that all the time.
And I would haul ore out of the belts and and things like that. I mean, it was never what they originally intended, but it was still, it was still useful. Hell, I remember back in the day having, having compression blueprints in the hole to be able to compress ore, because that was the only way that you can compress ore. But
yeah, there was some strong decision making in that one, right?
Dude, it was a simpler time.
Carry this blueprint around with you to do your job. Which one? All of them, because there's a million fucking ores.
I remember being in Null 2 gates away from the refinery, and I would compress my ore, and I would like bring it over in the fewest trips possible, just to reduce risk.
So
you know what? And then I learned, it's like, oh my God,
nobody else does it.
I'm going to post the
oh
link.
my God, nobody's coming here. I'll just take my Anshar.
I'm going to post there's an article on Even News 24 that's, I would post an Imperium News one, but we don't have one. I'm going to post the Even News 24 article basically on the work changes. The big one, as far as like
not an article, that's a copy and paste.
It is a copy and paste.
Hold on. I am more than willing to
let me
post
print this
CCP's
copy and
actual
paste.
forum.
All right, well then, go ahead and post that. Probably the big one.
You don't post stuff from Eve News 24. This is a Seraph Bazarab article.
Hey, by the way, we changed our name. Have you seen the name of this place now? If you look at Twitch, it's no longer the Matani.com. That is completely gone. It's now
Imperium News.
If they're watching us,
as of
right now, I
today.
can tell you that they are on the Imperium News, because if you go to the Matani.com Twitch, it basically says nothing fucking here, bros.
Yeah. So it finally changed today. It was the first day, and that has been a long fight.
Actually, I got a question about that. Drayden, did you have to change your streaming key or anything, or did everything just switch over?
Nope, stream keys are the same.
Everything switched over just fine.
It's the same channel.
Yeah,
it's just Twitch itself just changed the name and the URL.
Oh yes, Skeptics here. You know my pain with the fucking keys. I was like,
yeah,
oh no.
I think somebody had a question earlier today about if their subscriptions and all that stayed the same, and I think mine did, so I didn't see any change.
Yeah, someone
there.
already told Lieutenant Dan already said that Twitch automatically updated. Like it kept his follow on this channel, so it changed.
I kept my notifications, so that's awesome.
The only thing that happened was that all the third-party services broke for the past few hours. There's still a few that are still broken and in the process of being fixed.
Is the
Twitch now, or?
Is the Twitch Alerts chat thing one of those?
Twitch Alerts is up now. That was one that just got fixed in like the past 15 minutes.
Oh.
I was actually just chatting with the Muxy support people.
Now we're getting a little too far into the weeds. I just want to thank
the
staff at the Matani.com / Imperium News for doing the work today, because this came up at I think 3:00 this afternoon Eastern time. I think Boat was midstream when it happened, and it kind of shut shit down and it had to come back up again. Whatever,
kicked him off.
Yeah, so it's there's stuff. I mean, when I first checked, exclamation point drink wasn't working, so now it is. So the staff here has been great. Yeah,
that was Skeptic. That was
kudos
Skeptic
to them.
Skeptic and Matani, I guess.
Exactly.
Got your knee pads on today.
But,
I see.
Hey, you know what?
Who are you talking to me?
I gotta throw
No,
thanks
Dirk.
out.
Oh.
I gotta throw thanks out to the people that do the work behind the scenes. How can you not?
They make stuff work.
They make shit work, exactly. But getting back to this,
but how can they do it without the casino money? I don't understand.
Don't know. We don't know how anything's done without casino money.
No.
However,
man, are we still fucking that pig?
No, we're not.
Somebody in here is.
Rorqual changes. We've actually got a couple changes. I'm not even sure
was that
which
a
one
shot
to
at me?
address first.
No, it wasn't a shot at you.
It felt like one.
No,
Why do you?
Hold on.
Do you like pigs?
If we're gonna get to a shot about you, it's gonna be related to the Rorqual changes because oh my God, if you had asked me 3 years ago, will Grath ever bitch about changes to the mining yield on Rorquals?
Stop thinking about it like that. Start thinking about it like a company just basically waited until they felt like the market had settled out for the number of people buying injectors, and then they nerfed something. So they offered you something that mined at one speed. They offered you a ship. They said it did one particular thing. They waited till they thought everybody had bought into it, and then they changed it. To be way less than advertised.
All right.
That's insulting.
Sorry.
They didn't just fuck anybody. They fucked tons of
in.
people.
I have to cut in, and it's not because of me. It's only because I just saw Rain Chocolate in Twitch chat figure out that it's fucking Friday and she missed work.
Oh Oh my god, how drunk is she?
She's pretty
Quite a
fucking
bit, I
drunk.
think.
I'm gonna tell you
Like,
right now.
is it high school drunk or white girl wasted?
I think she
A
is
mixture of
like,
both.
she's
both
like,
bad.
Dirk,
Both?
she's
That's
like
bad.
Dirk 4.5
Which one's
hours
worse?
in right now.
I don't know which one's worse.
It's Friday.
Yes.
Wow.
Hi guys.
Man,
That is a white girl
Right.
right there.
Revs up in the days ahead.
man,
I
I kept
That's
this going.
okay, so that's
Cheetos and
definitively
wine.
white girl wasted right there.
No, I'm having fun playing games. I don't want to talk about games. I'd rather play games.
This-
Like Graf plays with
There
my
you go.
heart on Twitter when he's fucking crying to CCP
Yeah.
Fozzie like, Fozzie, these
Damn.
local changes make people hate you instead of fucking Fozzie Sov, Graf. Like, fucking get with the way.
It's like a
Right.
long list
It's
of
a
shit.
smart-
It's like, hey, what other dumb thing can they roll out the fucking front door with his name, with
Graf,
like him as
nobody
the face
cares
of it
about
for?
mining. Nobody cares about mining.
Oh,
It's a
Oh,
smart
It
move.
shouldn't. It shouldn't be
Shots
mining.
fired.
So it
It's a
shouldn't be
smart
mining.
move
Like,
on
if-
his
if you-
behalf because it's
my
deflecting
fucking
Fozzie
industrial
Sov.
ship doesn't do DPS. Like, nobody cares.
It has nothing to do with that. You
Raph-
fucking idiot. Holy
Raph
shit.
is actually not bitching about that, which
I'm
is what's
sorry, guys.
fucking
I just
amazing.
like triggering you, and I should see you tomorrow at the Minnesota meetup because I'm definitely driving to Minnesota. So you better fucking head the hour to Minneapolis to see me.
That's not happening. It snows
What?
like a fucking ton down there.
Yeah, you're Minnesotan. Like, just fucking get a snowplow in your car, truck.
In your car
Yeah,
truck?
just get us. They're like $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I'm driving down
But
there.
wait,
Take
what
my
I was gonna
spot,
say
take
though
my
is,
spot.
is Grath mad about the mining change part, or I thought he was
Yes.
mad about the fact
Not
that
the
you had to
combat
lock
part.
an asteroid so you can't hot drop with them, gank people.
I don't care about
Yeah,
any of that.
I
The,
don't
the
like
panic
that.
move fix seems so arbitrarily easy that they are overcomplicating it. Like, if you have that mod in your
Legacy
high
code,
slot
Graf.
on your fucking carrier active, you can't turn E-War on anybody. How hard is this to fucking fix? If the panic mode's a fucking problem because people are jumping in and being immune to shit like that, just put that on it and fucking move on. Nobody fucking bitched that much about that. Nobody's actually pissed about the panic mod. What people are, and not just me. Like, I'm offended for other people. I'm really good at that. People, they put this
Very
thing in the
empathetic.
game. They advertise it.
that's the
I
thing
told Dirk
nowadays,
earlier. I
is,
said
like,
it's like
taking issue for
it's like
other
you're going around. You're like, hey, 20-something Craigslist into butt stuff. Sure, I'll give her a call. You show up as a 70-year-old demented granny with a fucking colostomy bag. Like, that's not what was advertised. There's no fucking reason for it to go that way.
This guy.
total
This
false
got really
advertising.
awesome.
You have,
You want to talk false advertising? Talk about Eve Citadel commercial.
you have to remember that the Rorqual was originally introduced at what was it? Something like
5 Hulks.
5 to 6 Hulks or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah. 5 Hulks is what you were going to mine. So if that is too much, which it obviously is now because the mineral
Which
the
it was.
fucking economy is an actual free fall, and it's going to like. There's a pit that it hasn't even seen the bottom of yet. So who the fuck
I think-
walked
well,
it
I
out
think
the
it- I
door
think it
where
actually
you were
has now.
okay, where it was okay for you to have for this thing to mine that strong? Somebody looked at that and went, "Yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome," and they are dumb. That's a dumb person. Like that person, I feel that CCP should eat this. They should give anybody who's created a Rorqual alt since then, or injected or trained in any way, shape, or form the skills for a fucking ore command ship or an ore industrial ship since they released the Rorqual changes. They should give them all their fucking skill points. The
Well,
loss,
Like,
the
Keel
loss
is
for
really
this should
salty
be on
that
them.
The nerf leaks didn't get leaked with the buff leaks.
I don't know. I didn't know
Am I-
there were buff leaks or nerf leaks. I don't pay attention to any of that dumb shit anymore.
Well, hold on. If anybody didn't think, okay, number one, okay, Big Country and I thought forever that. Well, actually, no. I think he did think that they should be a capital mining vessel. I did.
Yeah,
not.
there
I
has
think-
to be. They want
No, there
localized
does
zero.
not
There
have to
does.
be. There doesn't
They want
always have to be
localized
a
0-0
bigger ship.
production at the alliance level. They want to get rid of the
Yeah, but
shit
that-
where you
that
move
doesn't
stuff out.
mean-
And
that
there
doesn't
does.
mean that a
Dirk, you're
30-man
dumbass.
alliance-
There's fucking no way that a 2,000-man alliance could supply itself in battleships if it had to fucking mine them in hulks. It's a physical impossibility. You
Well,
have
it
to be
me-
able
it
to
means you
mine at
bring
a
in- it
significantly
means you-
higher rate.
It means you bring in mining corps. It means you bring in other corps under your banner.
I
who
don't
are
give a
going to be
fuck
the
how many
suppliers.
mining corps you got. If you have so you have, like, let's just take a goon fleet thing for example. Just for a fucking example, they lose 2-3 Megatron fleets at one time in a day because they had a fucking bad day, bad bomber run, what the fuck ever. Shit went wrong. A bunch of shit died. They got to replace it all tomorrow.
Not
right?
happening.
It's going to take days.
They'd have to have backup stores already set.
Yeah, there's no way for you to survive with the mining yield the rate that it is now. The only way for this fucking bogus ass dream that they've been pushing for years about how they want to have localized production. The only way for it to exist is for the fucking mineral basket to get bent over a coffee table and fucked in the ass. There's zero way it survives the way it is. You have to fuck somebody. You're either fucking the Empire miners or you're fucking jump freighter pilots by nerfing them. And it's the only way you survive, like you save the market and allow for localized production at the same time. They need to stop playing this bullshit chicken shit cocksucker game they play where they fuck everything all around. Like this one was really bad. 2 months they knee jerked it. And the worst part is the way that the injector market went. As soon as it started to level off, they announced the fucking nerf because they weren't going to get any more fucking money out of it from injectors.
Maybe you should tell us how you really feel. I mean, damn.
Wait, so to be clear, you're saying that
bitches. To be clear, did you go out and find somebody and get some some hints on that one? Or did you just come up with it on your own?
Grath, to be
he's right about the injector market. They should have released something to balance the injector market so people wouldn't fucking have skill injector farmers for fucking months before they came out with this.
So you're saying that people basically bought a bunch of injectors to get into these things that were going to make their money back, and as soon as that market kind of stabilized, they pulled the rug out from under them and said, "Yeah, we're going to nerf this." So all that.
Of course. When they knew, he's saying it was a bait and switch.
Okay. They knew in the beginning of fucking January when Lazarus Corp is putting 50 Rorquals in a fucking system. They knew right then and there that everything that's coming right now was going to happen. They should have said something and did something about it right then and there. They've nerfed this thing 56% since the day it came out the fucking door.
A capital mining vessel was always going to do that.
We know that, Dirk. That's why you're fucking dumb, you stupid fucking idiot. We want to be able to mine in massive fucking amounts where we fucking live and not have to import it from Empire. I'm sorry that it fucks the little Empire miner guys up. I honestly don't give a shit. I want to be able to live in my space and make my shit there, and no fucking Hulk miner is ever going to get it done, Potato Head.
The mineral market.
That's valid. You want localization. That's how you get it with Rorquals.
That's not how you get it. That's not how you get it.
To mine that much
exactly,
fucking
it is exactly why over drilling for natural gas in the United States or oil or whatever the hell it is, it is a global market. It is a universal market, Neve.
Like that shit's never gonna happen.
And you know what? We said that it was going to fuck with the economy, and if you bought into the whole idea regarding massive rake-it-on-in freaking capital mining vessels, you had to know it was going to fuck with the economic market of this game, the economics of this game, and then it would be nerfed back. Now, the question is not
why.
Would it be nerfed
why?
Back.
Did you? I think your wife's fucking with you. Whatever you drank last had bleach in it.
You totally think that they are going to allow the economics of the game to be short-circuited just for some local
where is
supply
this
and
short
demand
circuit
equation?
you're talking about?
They've been talking about it for years.
Okay,
they've been talking about it for years.
Stop.
How come is Lockbox gonna live in a box?
Shut up, because I got the fucking numbers. Okay, since November 1st, Tritanium down 37%, Pyrite down 41%.
Of course, it's going to happen. Everybody's mining.
Isogen down 46.
What is your problem with this? Like, who didn't know this was fucking coming? Are you acting like this is some mystery that you just fucking dug up with Scooby?
No, we knew this was going to come anyway.
Right, exactly. Everybody knew.
I'm sorry CCP was so stupid as to give a capital mining vessel.
CCP regulates the Plex market. CCP regulates the Plex market, right? So if you buy 100 Plex today, CCP will contact you and say, bro.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, they will actually contact you if you buy too many Plex and say, don't sell those all at once. Don't fuck with our Plex market. So why would they not? Like, is it fair for them to regulate the mining?
Wait, is that
the
fucking real?
market? Yeah, if you sit there and you spend
I thought they stopped doing that when the economists
left.
Making me just do a shot in between here.
There's a pretty obvious difference there, though. Is one, you're spending real money on the company, the other's an in-game asset.
Yeah, but it still affects the in-game market, right? Because obviously,
on Plex only, though, it's not affecting anything else.
I mean, that affects skins. That affects a lot of other commodities like skill injectors, skill extractors, etc. So,
that's a minimal
why would
effect.
they not? But why would they is it fair for them to regulate the other markets?
Marketing on a
one-horse
race,
I had
that's my
zero
question.
idea.
If CCP can freely regulate the Plex market by scolding people if they were to attempt to sell 10,000 fucking Plex at once, then is it fair for them to regulate the ore market or whatever the fuck they want to do with these mining changes?
they
isn't the
regulate
whole
it
point
a
of this
lot.
game?
Always
Isn't the whole
regulated the
point of
old
this
market.
game
That's
is
the
it's
whole
based
point
on
of
the
them.
players? It's all like
Yeah, but you
No,
can't
player
let it go
driven.
crazy.
no,
You
because
can't
it's
let it
not
go crazy.
only
It's
it's
different.
not only based on it's not only based on the
Yeah,
players.
but
it
the
is
problem
also
with
based on the
CCP
changes
is
that they
this
make to the
fucking
game.
wet dream they've had about these
But the
regional
players
markets
affect
in
the game.
0-0.
They don't like.
So they introduced this capital. They introduced this capital mining ship in order to do that, and they did it. And now they're fucking shiting themselves because they've lost a lot of fucking cash.
So the next time somebody's
injectors.
pumping out rattlesnake PPC, should they shit on the coalition that's living in the
Yeah, they
north?
have to. Well,
he's saying that
I
they made
apologize.
cash. Whoa, whoa,
Potential
hold on.
sales. How does that grab you?
No, it doesn't grab me at all because what he's saying is that basically it was a bait and switch. That what it did was they put something out there that was going to be so lucrative that people went and bought injectors, okay, which caused somebody to buy extractors in the process so that they could get into Rorquals. I'm quite certain that Grath and a lot of these mining alts, etc., were not super high skilled Rorqual drivers before. All right. But guess what? This was going to be something that was going to be money in the fucking bank. So they went out there and they skilled up through the whole injection process, and then they nerfed it once, and now they've nerfed it back to what is something in the realm of 2 to 2.5 hulks worth of yield. And they're saying, whoa, wait a second, you bait and switched us. They already got their money. The people who rushed into this, CCP's already got their money out of the injector market thing, right?
Right.
There
yeah,
is no,
exactly.
like anything else is kind of a residual. The big giant crest of this happened early.
I wouldn't even say early. I mean, like if you look at the injector market, it's just calming down after like a here. Let's see if I can take a screenshot.
Now, granted, a lot of that injector market stuff, was
You
also.
think you were using that pulse technique, do you?
The what?
That pulse.
What pulse?
The
what
panic,
pulse
I
you talking
think.
about?
Oh, yeah. You know, I've never dropped a Rorqual in combat. Like I was, excited about and I mean, to be fair, like I did have 2 Rorqual alts. I say did until today. Like I melted them both today, but I haven't mined with those things since like the second week of January. Like I did it, and I did it for like 3 days. I was like, I made I think a total of 10 billion mining over about 3 days, and then I was like, okay, this is doable. This is something that. But the more important thing to me, like I think, as far as it was, is it got like a bunch of people to just kind of like hang out on comms, which is something that you don't. If you have a bunch of carrier
when you mine, bro.
right, yeah, sure. But they will not
now.
do it. Like there are so many more efficient ways to make money that Eve players will not do that in a Hulk. There's just no way that long-term Eve players are going to sit around with one fucking Hulk because they just don't make enough money. You can sit in a carrier and make 3 and 4 times as fucking much, but you can only have like 4 carriers active in one fucking system. So you break the groups down smaller. And
at different times of the game and at different plex prices, okay, people were doing it, but they were doing it with 20, 30, 40, 50 IS boxing Hulks or however the hell they were doing.
And that's so fucking dumb. And that's what it takes.
I know, but,
just let it like for once something natural had occurred in the fucking game, and the first thing they did was jump out and stomp on it. Can anybody deny that there have been massive fuck off fights over Rorquals that panicked? Like where huge amounts of shit was lost in stupid fucking ways. Like people were out in space, people were hanging out in comms, doing stuff in game, and they just came on and just shit all over it. Like, hey, I'm sorry, we got all your money.
The game is meant to be played, like people.
Well,
doing things?
exactly.
Which they still want, but they have to have some reasonable level of balance. And again, if what
they don't have to stop that idea that they have to have they have some balance up. They don't. They should let the market yield what the fucking market yields. If miners in Empire aren't making any fucking money, maybe it'll be the motivation they finally need to come and join any one of a million corps that are 1,000 times more friendly than they ever were the last time they tried to get people to move out. Like
that is absolutely true. That needs to be considered.
If it's a free market, it should be a free fucking market.
Like you shouldn't be just living in high sec unless you're a casual player. If you actually want to make money, you should be moving out to lower sec and then null sec. You should be doing that.
I believe you should play wherever you're motivated to be. If you're happy with whatever fucking pittance you make in Empire or something like that, and that's how you want to play, that's great. If you want to be a big nuts fucking miner and you want to get down and eat rocks and shit like that, you should have to go some fucking where for it. Like,
It's
but
like
you can't
any
cripple the
game
rest of the
ever.
fucking game.
It's like any game ever, man. Like if you want to like sit in the newbie area and like slowly level up, then you choose to do that. Like high sec shouldn't yield as much as null sec, and people are
You
bitching.
recognize though that is your null sec privilege that is talking right now. This is
What do you mean null sec privilege? I used to be a high sec miner, bro.
Okay, and you know what?
And I got sick of making peanuts, so I moved it to low sec, and then from there I moved
And
to
now
null
that you're
sec.
out, and now that you're out here, and you see what you can make and all that, you've given up your
I
autonomy.
also know that it's
you've
not that
given up,
fucking hard to
you've given
do
up
that.
your own individuality over it.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just saying, you know it's privilege speaking right now.
It's not. I've done all the stuff.
You're the
I
fucking
mined in high
worst.
sec.
Just saying.
I moved to low sec. I started doing shit there. I didn't like that, and I was happy. in
Claim
null
white
sec.
privilege in a video game?
That's exactly
No.
what I'm saying, and it's the most
Just
bullshit
checking.
argument
Null
ever.
sec
So
privilege.
those
Just
that
checking.
lesser privileged alliance mates have to fucking mine in high sec. So you should
Check
be,
your null
Class
sec
war online.
privilege. Exactly. Thank you, Demortis.
My
Null
null sec
sec
privilege. Yeah,
That's-
sure.
that's,
Because
that
yeah, like I direct entered into null
This
sec.
is not the
Look,
first time
your
that they have
nullsec
made
privilege
changes.
above your station, man.
I've been a fucking Icelandic cheerleader for like 12 years now, right? Like I constantly go out of my way to do as much as I can. Like, and in this particular instance, I feel like there's a gigantic section of their player base like that they just fucked, and they're just sitting back like, I know changes can be painful sometimes. No, you're fucking us. Like you
Well,
waited.
somebody's always gonna get fucked
Well,
one way.
yeah,
or another,
but, like,
though.
the timing-
it is
timing.
really a recent change, though. I mean,
Couldn't
this
it-
is
couldn't
not
it-
something nobody
The
has
fucking
been sitting
Ishtar
on
took a
Rorqual
year and
fucking
some
mining.
months to fix, right? Like how long was it? Fucking 14 months it took them to get the Ishtar to a place where it wasn't the most dominated shit in the game. And what this one every like oh yeah, fuck you, suck a dick.
Maybe
Are we all
maybe
in
it's
nullsec
more
a
about-
not a little pissed that you know what all those CSM reps did nothing to make this not happen.
Yeah, but you can be like
But Dirk,
Oh,
how much does it,
yeah.
how much does it
Dirk,
how
you
much
know-
does an
you
orca
know
mine?
Jintan said that that was not passed through them. You saw that.
That's what he said, but then Fozzie's like, "Well, I think
Isn't
he might
that
have
what
been
they would
asleep
say?
at the time when I talked about it."
Yeah.
Fozzie
Jintan
likes
said.
to talk. Like, that
Jintan
might have been a
said.
bar conversation.
Jintan said that this was not something that was given to the CSM at the summit, or much, if anything, prior to this announcement on the forums being released. And he said this on Twitter. Somebody kind of like copied it to Fozzie on Twitter, and Fozzie came back and said something along the lines of that's not quite true. I'll discuss it with him or something along those lines.
Yeah,
But
well.
but whatever.
Well,
With
wait a
that
minute.
many-
I want to
with that
just
many
say. I
nullsec
think there might
CSM
be
that
a.
are on the council. You would have thought that apparently we've got so much pull out there within the CSM to CCP lackey community that this should never have happened, but it did. So I don't know.
Well, maybe it wasn't. I mean, the timing
Like,
is what's suspect.
has anybody
Right.
maybe has anybody seen like threads where Empire miners were complaining or anything? Like, is there something that maybe I'm missing somewhere that they like? I understand that the mineral market was in decline. That was something that when they put the changes up before they even ever hit the server, everybody predicted it. They were saying like a 30 to 40% reduction is what we would expect. These are nerds that are steeped in spreadsheets. And I just went ahead and believed it. And now that we're at that level, fucking CCP bails out with a parachute. Like, after taking everyone's money.
Was that due to Rorqual changes, or was that due to like alphas and everyone?
No, it was due to the Rorqual changes. They were just going to mine so much more. I mean, like...
I'm a shit miner, so I wouldn't know. So
The number I want to see is what was being exported out of Null because of the Rorqual just being so OP, or was it being held for local production? That would be a
I'm pretty
number
sure
that would
we
probably...
sell most of ours internally. Like, they actually, I think,
Yeah,
complain a
same
little
here.
bit to some of the times. We're like, hey, I need more here or there, this or that. And you're like, what, really? There's 40 people in there. You can't, like, so I... Yeah, I don't know.
It's not the nerf that pissed you off. It's actually the timing of the nerf. You feel like it's insulting because
Yeah, I mean, like, there couldn't be any more insulting. Like, most of the people that are getting
It could have
them have
totally
got
been
them.
more insulting. It could have been a
I
day
mean,
after you bought those injectors.
I'm pretty
Well-
sure they fucking knew in the first 72 hours when they were starting to look at the number of materials that were coming in, and at the very least in the first fucking week they should have went like, oh
what
shit.
if they had
great.
development cycles and a calendar that they had to kind of make adjustments according to these the rhythm of the cycle of development, and it just kind of fell. Like,
Yeah, bullshit.
You're doing it on
As soon as you said the rhythm, I thought the rhythm of the night.
That's what I thought too.
They're doing
But
it
how
on
can
the
you
rhythm
say
of the
that?
night.
How can you say
here's
it's
the
a
thing.
development
We all-
cycle if it takes 14 months to nerf the Ishtar, but it takes 2 months to nerf the fucking Rorqual?
because that's a lot more
Boom!
delicate, right? You had to nerf the drones to see if that did it. Then you
And
figured
then nerf
out.
it again and again.
Economic
and
changes
small
come
increments.
in harder and faster.
I asked
It's
Fozzie.
nerf.
Yeah, there
it's
was
nerf
many
bracketing,
incremental
Jeremy.
changes
It's
in the
nerf
Ishtar.
bracketing.
I've asked Fozzie about this, and he says he'd rather make a big step and then walk it back very slowly than
He's
not
bracketing.
make a step far enough
Well,
initially.
they're always bracketing because look,
Yes.
they're basically putting out policy adjustments out there. In this particular case, they're putting out policy adjustments. And the question is, should they have come in low with a low yield that maybe was not enough to get people to have real uptake into using this newly modified Rorqual for mining and on-grid boosts?
Look,
Or
there's two
did-
schools of thoughts on it.
Ho-
Like you
well,
bracket it and you go big and bold.
hold on. Or do they come in high, get people to use it, okay, and then back it off once they see what the uptake actually is?
Well, the second option makes them more money because more people are going to be buying skill injectors.
Never
couple
would have had the
big
kind of
changes that
appropriate
they've had.
numbers.
You're talking about the original. See, with the nerfing, like I think they should have dialed it back slowly, and then people wouldn't have noticed it or cared as much, and then they could have got it easily to where they wanted it, where they felt it was
Well,
balanced.
and,
with
ha-
less
and how much of a
complaints. But these
reduction?
big slashes that they've been doing.
Well, the
is out
opposite of that
control.
is nerfing something to death, right? They just keep nerfing it, and that's what people
Yeah,
complain
but that's
about.
Eve. That's CCP with everything. As soon as one alliance or coalition finds like an exploit, or not an exploit, but like starts using something to its fullest potential, instead of like buffing things up to try and counter it or make like specialized ships, you know what I mean, and like making the game the way it's supposed to be, they just nerf everything to level it all out.
Well, real quick. Based on the old statistics, because they shortened the cycle time to 60 seconds on the mining drones, and then but they reduced the per cycle to 110 M3. Based on that, has anyone run the math to know how much of a percent decrease in overall yield it is?
It's like 32%.
32% decrease.
Between the first nerf and this coming nerf, it'll have been a 56% nerf across.
Yeah, so
That's pretty
Since-
heavy.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
That's
since,
pretty
since
extreme.
That's pretty
the first
fucking-
nerf and then the next nerf, it's like 32%. But yeah, in total, it's like over 50%.
That's
That's what I
pretty
mean. Like,
substantial.
if they
6.4%.
wanted to do this, there was way better ways to go about it. They could have nerfed it back slowly over time. People wouldn't have cared as much. But no, they're just like, oh, we're
Like-
fucking slashing prices on
Horrendous-
mattresses. Like it was
Oh,
ridiculous.
No, hold on. Look, this is not a fucking sudden thing. Arena said the first thing they need to do is they need to openly say, hey, this is a problem. We're going to need to look at it. Well before they start taking the axe to it. This is the second nerf, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the first fucking nerf to the yield of the thing. However, it is the one that takes it probably way too goddamn close for what the value of that ship is.
But this
Yeah.
is CCP's
Okay, so
way of
look,
doing things, man.
like
now
okay,
it's-
so basically, after this, a Rorqual that you don't spend a fucking ton of money on will mine like 2 Hulks. If you spend,
Yeah.
get the rigs, go thin, fucking run it wide open, you'll mine just under 2.5 Hulks.
But you're flying a ship that's like
So-
2 to 3 billion instead of
And Orca-
2 Hulks is like 300 million.
Well, an Orca will mine a Hulk and a half, and
There
that's like
should be a ratio to this shit. Like you're flying a capital mining ship, a capital.
the acceleration in investment to return is fucking insane. It's like I have a Hulk, I paid 400 million for it. Okay, I can have 2 Hulks, or I can have an Orca, or I can have a fucking Rorqual. Well, I guess I'll just get 2 Hulks and be rich.
Well,
I
along the
Like,
lines,
there
along
should
the lines of
be-
what Drunk Canadian just said, does that mean a Titan should be worth, I don't know, what, 200 battleships?
Well, no,
it
you got to
doesn't,
scale
but there's
it. But
a realm of reason that we've
Okay,
left.
no,
Right.
not
we know
100%.
that we have diminishing
there
returns.
needs, yes, exactly. There has to be that, but like they've diminished it to the point where there's no point to fucking fly the thing.
Yeah,
And
I
that
agree
shouldn't
100%.
be.
It is still a support vessel. Because here, let's say you're mining let's say you're mining out in Null, right?
Yeah, but
Do
all
you
they've done is
do-
nerfed it back to the point that it's going to sit on grid and do boosts.
Well,
like, you
can
as a
actually-
solo
it can
person in a
actually mine,
rogue
like,
world,
2+.
you should be able to make a decent amount of money in that thing and not have it be like 2.5 Hulks. It should be
can
more
actually
than that.
mine like 2+ Hulks while
So
also
the-
pulling in the ore. Of
Right. So
other
the way to
Hulks that are
fix
in
it
the
should
area.
be the drones should not cost 1.7 billion a piece.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you
Well, that's
recruit
another problem.
you either like I wouldn't
drones.
I
are the
probably
bullshit
wouldn't
thing of it
even
to begin
bitch
with.
that much, right? If it wasn't there isn't like a cheaper version that you can spend. It's 1.7 per drone for 5 drones plus a Rorqual, which is right
And those
now
are
running
T1,
about
are they not?
2.8. Well, it's the only kind they have.
But in the future, there definitely will be a T2.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But who knows at this fucking point? Everything's so fucking dumb. But like, so that's your minimum actual investment. That doesn't count like Panic Mod, doesn't count T2 Industrial Core, any of your other cat mods that you're going to put on the ship or anything like that. That's just that. Those 5 drones in the ship, you're just under 10 billion, right? Like, so that's absurd. When you could just do it in an Orca, and I don't know how they can't see that. Okay, so maybe if the total drone loadout was 1.7 billion, so they were like maybe 600 million a piece or some shit like that. So you cut them. That's way more. It's like if the whole total thing was like 5 billion, kid out, and it mined like that, maybe I could even see it because it does do some other things.
A comparison question here, LB. How much do you pull on an Ishtar ratting?
About 20 mil ticks.
Oh my God,
And
how
you
do you
get-
do it?
No, hold on.
You're ratting in an Ishtar?
I ran
Hold
an
on.
Ishtar and
Yeah.
I pull in like
Okay.
14,
What is that,
15 mil ticks.
2014?
Hold on, wait. All right, so then I rat in a Nighthogger and I'm pulling like 30 to 45, right?
A
So
what
that's a
hogger?
capital.
That's a little low, but
That's a lot low.
I know it's low, but I'm like casually whatever. I didn't really fit it all that well. But I mean, like I'm getting about 2 times, right? And what's the Rorqual at now? Like 2.5 times the Hulk. So I guess it's kind of similar, right?
Right now, I think it's like 3.5 times. Like you're like if you're
So it's
pimp
still
fit, you're
even a little bit
3.5
above,
Hulks.
like
Right.
an Ishtar compared to a carrier, which is really your step.
Yeah,
up
but you're
from
doing
ratting.
it bad. Like honestly,
I know
like,
I'm doing it bad. I know I am.
You should pull
let's
250 an hour in a carrier, no problem.
Let's not talk about it. That's not the point of that.
You can, and
I
like
was
in a
just trying
hell,
to make the comparison from
in
going
a,
from
in a
like
hell that's
regular
fit
ratting
like dog
to,
shit, you can make 400 million an hour with no problem. Like in a hell,
Well,
in a
it's
hell
a
that's
super
properly
carrier.
fit, you'll break
Yeah,
500.
super,
Like
It's a
What
super
if-
compared to a carrier, though.
What
Right,
if they had,
okay.
What if they had done this a different way? Okay, instead of messing with the yield of the Rorqual, what if they had I don't know, changed shit up to where when you clear out a belt, it doesn't respawn 5 minutes later. It's 3 hours later, or it's in a different system within the constellation, or some shit like that. I mean. Would there have been a gripe then? Oh, well, you didn't nerf my.
I don't think
ship
so.
that I
Yeah,
spent all this
exactly.
stuff."
I think that'd be better. Like you don't feel that the investment you made fucking destroyed because it's now useless. Instead, like it's dumb. So this is how this works. If
How
you
do you
mine out
haul
a
your
colossal,
ore, though? I mean, you guys are all out.
What do you
there
mean, how do you
Rorquals,
hoard
right? Well, it's not like you've also
compress it.
got other fleet members that are there. At least in your case, probably you don't have other fleet members that are there.
Sure I
in
do.
Things like Hulks, do you?
yeah, we do. You have like probably one
who
Hulk
hauls
for
their
every
ore?
4 or 5 Oracles. What the who hauls the Hulk's ore?
Yeah, I mean,
It gets hoovered up into a fucking into a Rorqual who
Okay.
compresses it, and you can compress a shit ton of ore. Like you can
Yeah.
put 3, 4, 5 billion of some ores into your.
All right, so you're doing mixed fleet. You're doing mixed fleet mining.
It's like a
You
regular
have-
mining
I
fleet.
wasn't sure.
You-
we got
yeah,
Rorquals.
you have
so
like
I
this
wasn't
is
sure
myth.
with
Before
PR
grid.
versus, say, the Imperium or
This
something
myth
like
that somebody is out there mining in all Rorquals is bullshit.
No,
You
I've
have
seen
to
that
have
happen.
a sub. You can't. You cannot mine Mercoxic in a fucking in a Rorqual. It's physically fucking impossible.
I'm not
And the
saying people
belt-
are doing that, but I've seen like
The belt
20
will
dudes in
not
orgs.
respawn until all the asteroids are gone. So even if there's 20 dudes that you're looking at right now in Rorks, somebody came in and mined out all the fucking Mercoxic from that place in a subcap. It had to happen because
had
the
to happen.
Colossal will not respawn until the Mercoxic is gone.
I'm talking about
So-
belts. I saw this in belts.
Oh, okay.
Not-
well,
not-
nobody
not-
fucking anybody Rorqual mining in a belt deserves what comes for them. Like,
Yeah,
But-
they should die.
We have spent a lot of time on this. I absolutely agree. I think that they have nerfed it back, kind of the wrong way. I think that there are more
You were
tools.
arguing it.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Look, I think economically, when we're talking economics, they need to do something. But again, economics depends on what your target is, right? Do they have a view of what the price of titanium they want, because then it makes it fair for high sec or whatever the hell it is, all right? They've got to have their target that they're shooting for. This is like the Federal Reserve getting in touch with monetary policy in order to is your target inflation or is it something else, right? They've got to have their target here, and I totally understand that, and they're not going to tell us what that is. Honestly, I don't think that they have anybody on staff who is the on-staff economist kind of person they've got some general shit that they want to work with. And right now, I think it's more game oriented than economy oriented. They want to make sure that high sec miners and low sec miners and null sec miners are not completely out of fucking whack with each other, which I think is wrong. I think that, you should be like pushing people out, but whatever. I know.
It's a tiered system. It'd be like playing the division and staying in that first fucking area and
It's not pushing people out though. Like that's
they want people to play, and some of those people are not going to go out to nullsec no matter
right,
what.
Because okay, so look,
this
is fuck that. This is a company. This is a video game company. It is their job to entice their players to play their game, not fucking our job, right? So here's the deal. You can stay in high sec forever. Nobody will ever fucking stop you. But if you really want to make good fucking money, you're going to have to leave and go out there with all these good fucking player groups. Like, Horde actively invites miners to come fucking live with it now. Like, please come out, get boosts, make money, take care of our sharing program. We'll help you. We'll give you shit. Like, that never happened when we started playing.
Oh, like
so
every video game
it's the company's
where there's
job
a tiered system to it?
To fucking to be like, look, this is what Empire's like. Here is... all this is out there waiting for you. You have to go find it. It's not our fucking job to fix their problem. It's their fucking job. They're not fixing the problem. They're putting a Band-Aid on it and ignoring that it exists.
Let me the elephant in the room. Did the goons do this? Did they overmine?
100%.
Yes,
it's all good.
Fucking Aerith. This is Aerith and his goddamn monthly economic report.
It's all the Delve economic reports of all the minerals being mined and nothing coming in. They've ruined high.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna nerf the yield that hard, they should have nerfed the cost, like you guys have been saying, like nerf the cost of the drones, the mining drones, because they shouldn't cost that much. If they're like,
here's the thing,
you shouldn't be paying. You shouldn't be paying 8 times.
So damn
cost of things on the market. If they're that worried about it, like why don't they regulate ratting and like rattlesnake BPCs? Like whoever's living in their areas and like pumping those out, maybe they should regulate that too.
They
like, where do we
regulate some of that from time to time, and they have over the years. Yes, I'm going to tell you right now. Yes. Over the years, they have absolutely regulated the amount of ISK that you can make off of ratting and off of drops. And
I feel like that's some shit you're making up. Nobody's ever swung by the Russian system. It's like, hey, you've been ratting for 23 hours a day, 7 days a week for the past 2.5 years. You think you can cut it back a couple notches?
Fucking happened. But because it's mining and it's pissing off the high sec people, like, oh my god.
There was a time in Eve. Okay, and I hate to take some people fucking back here. Okay, there was a time in Eve when infrastructure hubs were first introduced. Prior to that, mining was different all over fucking nullsec and Eve. Like where you lived actually mattered to what minerals you were going to take in.
Yeah, that was good.
When they introduced infrastructure hubs and what was then the hidden belts, okay, which now became unhidden belts. Everybody in nullsec has the same access to the same ore.
They have to because there's more players. They have to make room for people.
I think it was at the same time. Okay, they also fucked with TrueSec all over the place, and what that meant. Yep. Places like Tribute, okay, places that are closer to lowsec, okay, went from being like havens
it's right though.
left, right,
was
fucking
regional,
sideways,
and he does have a point. Dirk, you do have a point. Or was regional.
I do have a point because I got fucking history on my side.
You know, Battleship BPCs dropping from rats. That was fucking regional also. There's too many, Macarios in the game. There's too many whatevers in the game. But what are you going to do, Grandad?
When's the last time we spent this much time talking about fucking mining?
With Graf Telkin.
Graf loves mining.
This is some alternate universe.
I love any mechanic that they bother to put in the game that promotes us all playing together. Right now, the only thing that we really do as a group is kill other people. Right. I like anything that they give us to do to go out in the space as a group and do stuff together. Like there should be more than just murdering each other that's involved in.
And
don't fucking tell me incursion because I've been in an incursion fleet.
Like maybe
I've been in a fucking incursion fleet. Together. Nobody says a goddamn word except for hey, you're not shooting fast enough. Fuck those grumpy cocksuckers.
Yeah, but that's the elitist groups. Those are you can't even. That's like a different game altogether.
This is why Graf is such a complex and interesting character because you can't paint him as somebody who is a null block, caretaker.
I've tried everything the game has to offer. I did it on purpose. Like I hate wormholes because I don't like probing for everything I want to do every day.
I like how Graf gets the respect for doing that, but I've been everywhere too. And people are like, fuck that guy.
Nobody cares.
Hey man, I'm a Care Bear with teeth.
It's because Canadian.
Literally nobody cares.
I got big claws.
Yeah. I'm Canadian, but Graf is supposed to
drop bears.
I'm kidding. I'm giving you shit, man.
I didn't.
I know I've done everything in the game too, but this is a dynamic I'm not used to because I don't Rorqual mine anymore. I gave them up. I sold my 2 Rorqual pilots because I made a shit ton of money on them.
When? Like before the Rorqual change, or like since?
Yep, sure did. I sold them for a shit ton of money.
Well played.
I hadn't mined in like a month and a half, right? Like everybody's like, why don't you mine? You built Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I was like, that was great. Those names were there, and I got them, and I fucking made some sweet ass avatars. I just ran them both through a blender. Fuck them.
Oh, that's so sad. Like
Biomassed also?
It's like you got a pixie cut after a bad breakup.
I juiced them. I mean, they're worth billions.
But I kind of want to move off to a shit. I feel like we haven't like talked about the panic thing. All right. Real quick. I mean,
we did talk about the panic thing.
Well, not as much. Not
all of this time.
We'll leave it at panic.
And here's like the important shit, and we're just
let's give it no more than 10 minutes on the fucking panic here, okay? Because
we already talked about it.
We didn't quite talk about it.
We mentioned it. We didn't discuss it.
We 100% talked about it.
We're gonna do it again.
Nailed it. Okay.
Well, we're not gonna like actually do it again, but I mean, like, look, do people here have this issue? Obviously, it was fucking inelegant, right? They could have come up with a more logical way of.
They're still open to suggestion about the rock thing.
Pull it out. But this whole thing of like you've got to have a goddamn asteroid pointed and all of that shit. I mean, it's like what kind of nutso shit is that? What fucking intern brought that up? It just doesn't fucking make sense. And I mean,
I feel like there's ideas that come from the personnel management division of CCP. They were like, "Hey, go down there and ask them what they think we should do to fix this." This is the idea that came upstairs.
Either you want capitals to go through gates, and therefore Rorquals, can't use a goddamn panic at any place other than when there's an asteroid in proximity, right? And then what happens when they've cleared out a belt, right? Oh shit, we're totally vulnerable because we don't have an asteroid to lock onto.
They'll always leave one
You can't
asteroid.
carry an asteroid in your fucking
I think we can
pocket.
all agree it's kind of retarded. We can say that
Like-
still, right?
Maybe
Yeah,
you
that
could
colossal
jump-
won't respawn
Maybe
if you
you can
leave
get
that
Manny's
asteroid.
old idea of like the harpoon, but the harpoon is now for like towing
Oh,
an
the harpoon.
asteroid behind you.
That's what I'd like to see.
I don't want these
like-
things to look. The whole idea of combat Rorquals, we all think it's funny, like combat skiffs were back in the day and all that kind of shit. All right, but the fact is, they're not really designed for that. And if CCP built something in that allowed for it by mistake, then correct it. But this is not the way to correct it. You guys are better than this.
Well, they were saying, at least CSM was saying
We lost
talked about
Grath.
this.
Grath
And there
has
was some-
dropped.
Some creativity as far as how to deal with it, and CSM were kind of impressed with the creativity. I have a feeling they walked through a lot of different scenarios. I don't think that maybe there's something we're not thinking of on why it has to be an asteroid or something.
I don't know. But if it did actually happen in any way, shape, or form at the fucking summit, then there's like CSM members that need ass kickings.
They talked about
because
it.
literally dumb, fucking dumb.
Well, they talked about it, and they said it was discussed, and they said that CCP had come out with interesting ways of kind of nerfing it, untraditional ways. Clearly, this was it. This was, wrapping your lasso around an asteroid would be a very untraditional way of nerfing that.
CCP Globby. And I'm going to assume for a moment that is fucking Globby out there, okay? He says no panic mode, period, okay. No, look.
I don't think that's
Once-
a CCP
once-
person. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's
No.
fucking CCP. I think it's Globby, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, number one, it's not
guessing.
CCP, maybe it's Globby, whatever. When they came out with on-grid boosts and they were going to force Rorquals and Orcas and whatnot to be providing the on-grid mining boosts, that's where they said, well, we need to throw something in there that allows these things to have some defense. We'll come up with this panic module. That's where it came from, right? It came with the fact that we want to bring all boosts, including mining boosts, on grid. He says I'm Fozzie, but we know he's not Fozzie. Oh my god.
Crash.
Oh my god, CCP_Globby in Twitch. You just impersonated CCP Fozzie.
Yeah, actually, I think that's punishable.
You've been reported. But anyways, what? If nobody really has a big issue over this, fine, let it fucking go.
The panic thing? Yeah. I mean,
I think it's just inelegant. I think
crashed,
they
so.
could have come up with the way that, it could have come up with a way that made sense. And
yeah, like
this
you have
way
to
is
have a
just like,
fucking
holy shit,
sub-capital.
yeah.
Like it doesn't work on capital ships at all, right? Like Panic doesn't work on other oracles. So if you wanted a more elegant solution than have a fucking asteroid locked of all things, one friendly sub-cap like fleet member, you know, within a certain radius of you to Panic or some shit like that, like within range of the Panic module. Otherwise, it should there's a million other ways to do it. Don't let it use E-War at all while it's in Panic mode, like triage or like the fucking carrier thing. An asteroid locked. What?
But-
I'm supposed to just leave this fucking one asteroid here in the belt so I can
Exactly.
get the fuck out?
That's what's going to happen.
Exactly, and move on, which is not what people tend to do with the types of belts that they are mining out there. They're not mining asteroid belt 7-TAC-1. They're mining the ones that are spawned by
Colossal, right? You're mining the Colossal. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much money in it. There's billions in that thing, and you can scrape one off the map, and like that's your
rinse
your,
and
you
repeat
go in and
all
hoover it
fucking
up.
days. Exactly. But gonna get off that. Gonna go to the other one, which I think is a nerf for some other people out there. Ultimately, I think it's kind of a nerf. Is the changes to fighters, supercarriers, and burst projectors. You know what? Let's just start off real quick with burst projectors.
Buff.
These
They got a
are
giant buff.
These are obviously buffs because none of them are nerfs.
Yep.
The smallest one is the one to the ECM Jammer Burst, which is going from 30 to 40 seconds. These are duration bursts, people. I'm sorry, duration buffs. Okay, so increases to the duration. Then we've got basically 50% buffs to every other form of burst projector. Those positive, right? It's all positive.
Yeah, they're all
because
positive.
they're
There's
buffs,
no-
so we
like
like,
that-
can't
okay.
cry about that.
I actually got in a argument with Muck about this the other night, kind of, because I don't believe that when you take the total package of what carriers and super carriers are getting, that it's fair to say, oh, the carrier nerf, because it makes you sound fucking dumb. You get full keybind ability across the entire fucking spectrum of all your fighters and all of their shit. You get like, and I mean, that's from, you can now launch with a button. Like, that is amazing. Please, thank you, fuck. You can keybind all that stuff. The Wyvern and Hell get bigger bays. You get an overall buff to the burst across the board, and all you paid
Plus
for that was
10,000 M3 to both the Wyvern and Hell. So for those of you out there who were like, "Oh my god, I can't carry enough shit,"
yeah, that
Plus
was everybody
10,000
because the
M3.
Wyvern's fucking fighter bay was literally a fucking studio apartment somewhere in New York. It's
90,000
amazingly
yeah,
small.
It's going from 80,000 to 90,000. Yep.
I find it hard. Like, I
That's
could
still
see
the
if the
smallest,
carrier
right? The
pilots
Wyvern
were
is still
mad
the
if their
smallest at
damage
90,000.
application, which is what I thought CCP was going to go after. If I'm 100% obvious, honest, I think carriers probably are able to apply to subcaps a little bit better than most subcap pilots are comfortable with. I assume that the nerf that they would give them would come in that form, and it would, because it would also help them slow down how fast you're ratting, because I mean they make so much money so fast right now. I'm like, there's no way they could ever let this go, but nope, left that the fuck alone and went after the mining amount on the Rorqual. Go team! Like, there's zero reason for you to be that upset about it. You're usually kiting your fighters around anyway if you're doing it right, because they were already taking fighters.
If you're
They're
good
like,
at it.
they're like, hey, they're gonna make the rats pay more attention. From what I understand, that's not really a problem right now. They actually pay plenty of fucking attention. So, like, that's almost going to be a non-existent change, and you'll just, kite
Which
and
is,
aggro,
which
kite
is
and
one of
aggro,
the
kite
things
and
that they
aggro.
didn't say, right? What they said was that NPC AI. Let's see here. I can't even fucking find it right now. But basically, NPC AI is going to get better. That before they weren't taking fighters too seriously, but now they are. Now we don't know how much, right? We don't know what the change in that is. We just know that it's going to be enhanced, somewhat. But
If you mind,
the
if
fighters
you shoot
themselves,
Arista rats, it could
from
be a pain
lights
in the
to
nuts.
shadows and heavies and everything, are getting bumped by shit. And I mean, the smallest ones
Shadows are still shit.
are getting bumped by
Shadows
like
are still shit.
50%.
Yeah, I mean, shadows are still shit, but they get a little bit, like, they got a little bit extra damage. They're still kind of garbage. Like, nobody wants to suicide bomber drones. That's not really that great. Because what happens once they suicide bomb? Then what? Now what do I got? Nothing. So, like, they're not that great. Like, the idea behind them is kind of sweet, but ideally, if every super carrier in your fleet popped all their drones and Alu Akbar'd one fucking random guy, then you're still fucked because everybody's suddenly out of drones. Especially if you were in Wyvern fleet, because that was pretty much it. You were done for the day.
I mean, these are things now that are going to be easily targetable, more easily targetable. by the enemy. Forget the ratting aspect of it until it's kind of a double nerf in a way for those who are out there carrier ratting and super carrier ratting. They're getting hit both on signature size as well as
That's it.
whatever it is on the
Yeah.
drone
I mean,
AI
that
side.
part sucks a little bit, but give subcaps I mean, fuck. Like right now, if I launch fucking point drones and damage drones on you from a Thanatos and you're in a subcat like a Vaga and you're like, I'm gonna get you. You're not getting shit. You're gonna get got. That's what's gonna happen. And there's nothing you're really gonna do about it. So like giving him a little bit of a sig increase is okay. It gives subcaps a better chance to fight back a little bit. Fuck.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, come on. I mean a little bit. I didn't say a lot. I said a little.
No, it doesn't give subcaps fuck all. However,
come on.
Come on, with a 10-second.
Well, of course it does. When you can
With
sit
a
there and
10-second
when you can sit there and
boost
actually hit a
added
fighter.
with all those carriers on the screen at the one time in a massive tie-dye fight.
I'm not talking about a massive
subcaps ain't
tie-dye
gonna
fight.
fuck
It's not
all.
going to matter that much. I'm talking about like for when you're going out and you cross through fucking some shithole in Iridia and there's like a Hictor and a Thanatos and like 5 guys on a gate. You might be able to like
me,
drive
myself,
away and shoot his fighters.
You, me, and I. Just fucking around. Yeah, of course.
Honestly, I thought that there was going to be a little bit more like rage out there regarding regarding this, but it doesn't sound like there is. It sounds like people are okay with
They're all
increasing the signature
breathing a
radius.
collective sigh of relief that this is the extent of the nerf. People are like, "That's it, really? Is this going
I'm
to shoot
more
my shit
looking
more?"
for the tiers out of actual users, not the people who it might be used against. And those don't seem to be coming to the same extent that they do to mining yield. I mean, again, mining drives this game, people.
Smoke break.
It's not even funny. Like, think of all the people. The only reason why the PL probably has had the advantage it's had is because PL and NC Dot have had a super fleet that no one could really contest the size of for the longest time. That's not really possible anymore. Like right now, everybody is in this giant gimme and get some period where they're trying to get like everybody with a pulse, to have a super carrier. When that happens, our advantage will be pretty much only that most of us don't eat a foam couch cushion for breakfast or something. That'd be the only advantage we have over another alliance group because we'll have super fleets the same size of ours. Not only that, I kind of liked it because the price that they were going to put them at might entice people to use them more. And so there would be more fights.
I mean, wasn't the big change last year following, I think it was following FanFest or whatever, when they made the changes to super carriers, that it did put back into the game, look, you got to have some skill using fighters.
Yeah, for sure. That's the most mechanically fucking demanding thing you'll do in this game is to properly use
it. Actually is, and that's what's crazy, right? Is that the super carrier is probably the most difficult capital to use in the game at this point. Not the Titan. I mean, as much as may go into aligning a lance properly or whatever, being able to use a super carrier with
6 ships,
with fighters,
yeah. You're 6 boxing on the same screen is basically what a super carrier.
You've got different weapon systems. You've got different propulsion systems that you have to deal with orbit and whether or not you're dealing with that properly. I mean,
what do you mean?
It's
orbit?
way
What are you
more
talking
to
about
it.
that? Oh.
They have fighters will settle into an automatic range that is not necessarily their optimal range. A lot of the times, and you can give them commands on where and how you want them to orbit, where you want them to go, and stuff. After you give attack commands, you can give the commands in a specific order to better utilize the drones and like make them function properly. Like this drone, it's got an optimal 40 range. Why is he going to 5 kilometers? Hold fucking still. Come back here. So you have to learn how to use them right, and you can even use them. Like I said, what I was saying earlier is you aggro with one set, kite one direction, and once all the fucking NPCs run that way, you just take your other drones and stick them on the ass end, and shit just dies so fast. It's why the fucking sig radius. Nobody gives a shit about this sig radius change. Really, people are like, oh, I'm gonna have to maybe replace an extra fighter or two. But I mean, honestly, in the end, your fucking ticks aren't really gonna change that much.
You say that.
I read
there are
that
some
thread.
people out in that goddamn forum that are like, really? Oh,
that guy's
I'm not gonna
electric
give his
bill
name. I'm not
directly
gonna give his
dependent
name,
on
but
his
he's in
rating.
PL and he freaked the
Isn't
fuck
that
out about
I
how
saw
fighters
Terra.
get
I
Terra.
saw Terra. Terra Reed.
I wasn't
I
gonna
saw
say
it.
Terra, but
Is that going to affect Ratters more than?
That's just kind of
Antigo?
more along the lines of how Terra is, though.
Yeah, Terra's. Tara's a younger, spunkier version of me. He's just got to be
He's an
himself.
intense little guy.
Yeah.
Isn't it going to affect,
No, not really,
riders?
Matro. No.
No? They're
I
not going to
mean,
get
it
more
just means
chewed
that they have to micromanage a little bit better.
Right,
But other than that, no, because you're already doing that if you're ratting in a super or carrier anyway.
Yeah, but Eve players are getting old. It's like, how much do we want to micromanage anymore? You know, it's like
Carrier ratters want to micromanage a lot. That's how much they want to do. Like you know what you're getting into. The first time you undock in a carrier and you go rat, like weeks. There's a guy named B-Dubs in Habit, and he was trying to do it, and he's like, man, I don't know how he's getting these ticks. He goes, I'm like only getting like 50 million every time it ticks. I'm like, are you micromanaging each drone? He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, does everybody shoot one thing, or you've got 5 fucking tubes? Are you doing 5 different things? He goes, 5 minutes later, he's like, holy shit. Yeah, and that was the last time I heard from him for like 7 hours.
Per minute.
Yeah. So like that's
he's like
he
the
was
Alliance tournament team of ratting.
You know from the very first time you try and rat in a carrier how activity intensive it is, and like the guys that do it really well, and I don't think they're gonna have any problem at all. They won't even fucking notice.
We have so many honest in this game.
You might see more bombers used against fighter blobs or some weird shit like that. They're more susceptible to the explosions and stuff, like AOEs shit. I mean, they might open up some tactics. I honestly didn't see it as a nerf at all. They're like, everybody's like, oh, the fighter changes are nothing really. It's not that bad.
But I am dropping it into the Twitch channel right now, so that people can. Hey, look, you know what? If you got something to say about the shit, now is the fucking time. Once again, for all you people out there think, oh man, the fucking CSM, this, that, the other thing. Now is when public comment time is trying to happen. If you're out there right now protesting the like Affordable Care Act or whatever, and what you should be protesting is the Rorqual Care Act.
Yes, exactly. So
Check
nothing's going to
your
change what they're
goddamn
doing to the. Nothing that you say is going to change what happens to the Rorqual. The concerns are entirely related to the overall health of the market. So you can say whatever you want in that thread, and they're reducing that Rorqual. To
CCP
that
is trying to
amount.
repeal and replace the Rorqual.
Yeah, you might be able to, like, I'm pretty sure I feel like they're undecided on the final, verdict of the panic. So maybe you can probably have input on that. And I mean, that's something everybody should probably think about. Like dumb shit, like I need to have an asteroid locked. Well, what if I just mined all the asteroids? What if I'm jumping a gate? What if I just undock? What if I'm just trying to dock? Like, can I just fucking panic? I feel like I should be able to panic if I'm getting my ass kicked in my Rorqual because it costs 12 fucking billion.
I just can't imagine they didn't cover that. I mean, that seems to kind of like super basic.
Yeah, I don't think you'll affect that. You're not probably much you're going to have an effect on a lot of those. You can voice your opinion and they'll take it with steam, but they're going to do what they do. And there's not much you can do to stop that at the end of the day. There are very rare cases in EVE's history where the player base is bitched so loud about something that they backed off of it. But those are pretty fucking few and far between, and I feel like they're terrified of the Rorqual miners right now.
Most recently, the Jump Freighter jump nerf got reversed before it came out.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but that's got to get shot in the head. If they really want us to build in place, it's got to go. Like,
they
you got
said
to
it
fix
was, right?
Yeah, they said that shit years ago. Some people are having kids go off to kindergarten for the first time since the last time they said that. They started talking about this shit.
Works are really 12 billion like right now.
Yeah, man, come on.
Didn't I give did I give one of those a fucking way at like Christmas or New Year's or something?
2 weeks ago.
Oh my god! No, I didn't give it away that night. 2 weeks ago was the BC money, but either Christmas
I would
or
not.
fucking New Year's. What the fuck was I thinking? Jesus.
I would not advise anybody else. Like if you're currently skilling towards a Rorqual, I would probably advise you to consider your options because
Turn
back.
It's too late.
Matterall's been threatening to give away Rorqual BPCs for the
I will
6
next
years.
Tomorrow morning. I'm going to give
Patrol
away.
is coming for your Rorqual, and you're not going to be dreaming much longer.
Tomorrow I'm going to give away a Rorqual BPC, and it's a 9.
You could conceivably just fit a Rorqual with bursts in a fucking tractor beam and set it in a belt and let it just be there as a panic button / tractor beam or fucking compressor that somebody else can come pick shit up with. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Like, and you would only spend about 4 billion ISK for the total fit to do that. Like, that's totally conceivable, and it's probably significantly better of an option, especially with cattle rustling being a thing. Like, you don't want to. 10 billion in drones is a lot or whatever. At one point, like cattle rustling is they come up and they boost your drones off with like a series of command destroyers, and then ECM burst them. Right. So you like your drones get carried the fuck away, then ECM bursted. They go neutral. The bad guys scoop your drones up and drive the fuck away. They called it cattle rustling. That is the most amazing emerging. Yeah, that's fucking fantastic, right? That's a great gameplay.
That's a great
that just got shit on.
Hey,
yeah, they just got shit on.
We're gonna do a shot real quick to CCP laying out. I don't know. It was like really kind of a series of nerfs this week. I mean, most of it was nerfage, right? I mean,
nerfing our dreams.
Well, they said they were going to be shield.
Here's the nerf bet.
They're going to be shield slaves, right?
Eventually. Shield slaves? You talking about like the implants?
Implants, right?
Oh my God! How long have they been talking? How hard is it to create an implant that increases
no, they
your
already
shield?
had it. They were just like, oh, we're waiting to introduce it, right?
It's so like they want to look at shield hit points across the spectrum. They said that when they started talking about them. Because right now a slaved up Aeon and an unslaved no implanted Wyvern have around the same like hit points when you try and max tank them. So if you suddenly introduce shield slaves, you're going to have Wyverns that have 30% more hit points than a slaved up Aeon, give or take. Yeah,
I think that one of the things that we all need to consider when
Still subject to newts though.
Any of these changes come through from CCP is look, sometimes instead of reacting to it, we just need to let it happen.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen. I think
just let it happen.
You know what?
Is that how we're closing this out?
This has been a week. This has been a week where just let it happen has taken on a lot of.
Are we finally going to talk about it?
We are. Right now is the time when we're going to talk about it. Rain is not really here.
Hang on.
Whatnot. Okay. From now on, when shit happens in Eve, okay, it always has to come back to hashtag just let it happen. Not because we should just let it happen, but because if you feel as though you're being bent the fuck over at a gate
without an asteroid,
because we all know that it has. Because we all know that it's Eve related, it's not actually rape related. You should just let it happen.
Well, it has been a week of taking things away, hasn't it?
It pretty much
just let it happen.
I can't
Don't
really.
They know that you can't do that to people? Like you
I
can't
think
give
it
them
started
something
off-
and then take it away.
I think it started off.
It's like Obamacare.
I think it started off with the alliance name. Okay. Of
General Pat, thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub. Okay. It started off
Meatball
with the
sub?
alliance name thing
Related
related to the alliance. Just let it happen. Okay, that somebody out there apparently protested it, or what do they call it when you like file a
Petition.
Complaint.
Petition.
They
No.
petitioned
I was
it.
gonna say file a complaint, but that sounds legal and shit.
Well,
and-
petition's
and
more
what
legal. I
happened-
think.
I think it was pretty.
We've checked
it
the
was-
logs and it's working as intended.
I've petitioned you with the local militia.
Yeah, I have a problem
Sounds
with it.
way
Like
different
rape
than I
culture
filed a
is
complaint
kind
against
of
you
a
for
part of
fucking a
Eve,
rape illusion.
and to try and like deny that it's like, like to try and deny that rape culture has been a part of Eve forever is kind of dumb. Like I also disagree with even like it has such a long history. Surprise butt sex. Guess what the fuck that is, motherfucker? Not really right clicking a sign of.
That sounds a lot. That sounds a lot.
We're gonna
That sounds a lot
struggle,
friendlier.
Snuggle. Come on.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can like surprises.
Right. See, exactly.
Right-
There's so
right
much
now-
of it
right
throughout
now
the
I'm
history
regret-
of Eve. That, like you
I'm
can't really
regretting
like.
my decision to not deal with this in the first 15 minutes and deal with it in the last 15 minutes.
Well, you
I
just
mean,
can't,
really,
like,
is it a
you know, like-
surprise when you yell surprise?
It is.
What happened
If the
when one
guy's
fleet
eyes
got
open
decimated
wide-
by the other fleet? Oh, those guys over there got raped. That's what happened. Like this is a thing that's gone on for a long time, and even you might
You
not.
can't say that.
I can. I did, and I will.
This
Yeah.
motherfucking grass tells
So
you what
sexist.
he wants.
I am. I am actually slightly misogynistic as well. That's fine. If you want to go
How
make
dare
me a
you.
sandwich, I'm looking for a volunteer.
It's freedom of speech, man. Freedom of speech.
I feel like you can't really. I mean, there's a line where I feel like it goes from comedy to you're a creepy motherfucker and we should put you in a dumpster with a swelled up eye.
Yep.
And like if you cross that line, that's like something that most normal people can judge. I'm not so social justice. Like I grew up on Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor jokes. Like
Eddie
that's
Murphy
wrong
raw
ass shit.
or Eddie
So then
Murphy
you're aware.
delirious?
Yeah.
You're aware that people have lost their fucking minds these days. Then.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's a
I'm gonna
point
be
you can
fucking
go
honest. I'm
past.
gonna be fucking honest. If any of you out there think that this name had nothing to do with the allusion to rape, you are just making shit up.
No, I'm
Because we
sure it
are
did, but I mean, like I
Eve
said,
No,
players.
but
like,
you can
the-
say
like-
that all day. But you can't say
We
for
can
a
say
fact,
that
well,
all
it
day.
was rape. You can't. You
It was.
just literally
Hold on.
cannot know that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Or sex
I am
rape?
not.
Here's-
I am not.
here's
I
a
am not.
conversation
in
that
any
we
form-
had.
Oh, here comes
You
fucking
can
rain.
think it.
Yeah.
It might sound
I
it.
am
You may
not.
allude
Here she
to
is.
it.
You guys ready?
And she's dying.
Yeah.
I do not believe.
That's my
I
triggered
do
buddy.
not
Are you
believe in
talking
any
about
form of fucking
forced
hate crime.
sex rape? Or are you talking about like video game rape, as in like, hey, I killed you, therefore I raped you? Like, what are you talking about? Because
Exactly. That's
having
the.
actually
You tell me,
PvP'd
what are we talking
against the
about?
Guys, having actually PvP'd against the guys, I've never took it as forced rape, as in sexual rape. As in, I'm
But-
taking
but
power away from
nobody-
you as a human being and dehumanizing you.
Exactly.
And making you do things
I've never
to an
gotten my
object.
ass kicked by
Wow, look at
Pandemic
you.
Legion and thought I
You
got
don't like-
pandemic.
So if you want to fight me, Dirk, we can fucking take it outside.
He
I'll show you
won't-
how to just
he
let it
won't
happen.
fight
Catch
you.
her outside.
Girl, I'm
He-
a lover. You know that.
He won't fight you. After Dirk left, Goons, I tried to fight him in local, and he just like fucked me off.
I feel like Lane
Yeah,
Brain is
I
like a
figured
pretty
you
no
all
girl
agreed.
girl
I
stuff
was
kind of
in a
thing, and
travel
like if you
sector,
can get
Dirk.
around the conversation of
Canadian.
like
And
I want
we
to
kinda
like
lost the
comedy
war.
rape sounds so bad, but that's like really what it is. It's not meant in a malicious manner. It's meant in it's like a joking manner.
Well,
in the 80s,
So
if you
now is
called
that
your buddy a
socially
faggot,
acceptable to
it
be
wasn't
joking
like
about
it wasn't
though?
like a
Here's
terrible
my
thing. Like
point.
A faggot
is
is
it what?
actually a bundle of sticks.
You guys can't be saying that.
Or a-
I
It's
know.
a
I
bundle of
just
sticks.
use it. I use
It's
it
a
for as
bundle
an
of sticks,
example. and
Rattle.
Yeah.
Right, I
Here's
get it.
the
I get
thing.
it. But that's not the intent of that it was used in the 80s. It's not cool anymore to do that. But I feel like, to a certain extent,
It's
rape
evolved.
Well, I
culture's-
think
rape
like you said
culture's
before, there's a
kind of
line.
accepted
There's
it.
a line
It's-
that
I don't
shouldn't be
know.
crossed, and the thing is, like, that line should just be. I feel like everyone, the general populace, knows where that line is, and they choose whether to
Right.
cross it or not. But there are people that don't know where the line is, and if you're those people that don't know where that line is, just play
Which
on
is
the
fine.
safe side and don't do it. Then.
Hold on. Which is absolutely fine. Okay. If you don't know where the line is and you
Sorry,
made an
Manuel, by the
honest
way.
fucking
Like-
mistake, and
It's all right.
CCP says, you know what? Look,
No problem.
for us as a company, for us as a video game, we think that this crosses the line. For the community, the way that it did on Reddit, as well as some other places out there, to come out to come out in support, because you know what? They don't want their free speech rights that they think they have in whatever country they do, but they don't under the EULA of this particular fucking country, this space fucking country, all right, to come out and protest against it and be like, oh man, I have got to support these motherfuckers whether I believe in it or not. It's like, stop it. Just stop it. You are such fucking frauds. You know where this came from. This
Please
did
stop
not come from
perpetuating the
just take it.
institutional like oppression of Reddit, please.
No, you know what?
Here's my take is
And
that
I
when
may fucking
Falcon was
bad for this.
vilified, that crossed the line. When they were calling Falcon a moron and an ass or whatever, just spewing bullshit about Falcon, he's the messenger in the whole thing. He didn't ban or change the name. He was just
He's
part
well
of the problem,
aware
or
of
not part of
the-
the problem. He was
the
just part
nature
of
of
the,
Reddit.
trying to be the part of the solution.
Falcon is number 1A. Number 1A.
He's number one.
Are we on a vote list?
Oh my
Then
fucking
Article
God.
what?
Zell is here. Zell is here.
Then I asked him,
What?
what's up, my bro? Zell, hold on
Zeltheric
one
is
second.
here.
Number 1A, fucking
And?
Falcon knows, okay, you know what Reddit is. This decision was apparently not made because of the outcry by the community out there, whether it be Reddit or otherwise. All right. However, he also recognizes that they have done a poor job related to policing all of the other names that are out there. I'm going to be honest. What I think is that they were wrong for backing off of this. What they should have done was stayed with this, policed up all of the names that we know from my article that we talked about last week are totally fucking
Last
against
week,
their
yes.
EULA. All right.
The one with your fucking trigger warning, Dirk? Like, everything
All,
can be
no,
fucking
no,
offensive
no,
to
no,
anyone.
no.
Triggered.
The article I wrote in 2013
I
when
can't
they,
listen to you anymore, bro.
the
No.
article,
Oh God,
Zell is
the
actually on the
article that I
channel.
wrote in
Yes, it's
2013
Zell.
regarding their name fucking warnings. Okay, all right. They should have policed that shit a long time ago. They didn't, and now they are having a difficult time policing any name warnings because they didn't take care of the low-hanging fruit a long time ago. Now y'all talk about whatever you want. I got my shit out.
Look, I love you. I just wanted to throw that out.
I know
but
you do,
you
my
are
friend.
fucking
I love
cunt,
you.
and I love all of you. And
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
my life. In before banned hashtag.
Oh, touch my tralala.
Zell, are you participating in Burn Jita?
I'm burning my fucking dick off right now. Like I stopped playing.
Did you put some powder on it?
No, like German,
They have a
German
cream for that.
efficiency, like German jeans, Oh.
So
like like Dirk, social change comes in Eve, whether CCP wanted to or not. Like
Yeah,
if you
it
look
does.
at people used to call it Jewing. Nobody really calls it Jewing anymore. They call it crabbing
Bullshit,
now.
except for the characters Jews, Jitta Juice.
I get
and
it.
Jitta
I get it.
Juice.
I
Burn
get that.
Juice.
Okay, you fucking retard. Shut up. I got it. We got where you're going with that.
Wow!
God damn.
Fucking retard. Who the fuck are you, motherfucker? Huh?
Oh,
Hey, by the
fuck
way,
this
Graham, you
guy.
can't say
Oh,
retard
God.
anymore, bro. We're too old.
Yeah,
for that.
see, like I can't even call Dirk a retard. There could be somebody in the audience that's
You
an
can't
actual
say that
retard.
word anymore.
Now I'm fucking.
offended.
Now
Oh
they're
no.
triggered.
Oh no, on
and-
TeamSpeak I'm between Grath and Zell. This is terrible. I gotta move to
Oh,
Zell.
man.
Adderall sandwich.
I feel like
Blink
that
if you need
change
KY.
came on its own. People will like if enough people got offended by Fume 8 that they felt that their name should change, then they would know that, right? But like if we go through every motherfucker that's offended by every little thing, like, oh man, this reminded me of rape. Well, fuck, this one time the name of Goonswarm Federation suddenly reminds me of the time I saw a chicken ass fuck another chicken. Like you
And
got to
that's
change
what
your
everybody
name.
throws
Like,
out there. And
yeah,
we know
well,
that those are
well,
bullshit
why the
excuses,
fuck would
right?
it's not though? It's not a bullshit excuse because you don't get to be a fucking piece of shit and belittle somebody else's pain. You have no fucking way to challenge and know whether or not that person's legitimate, and to even do that in the first place makes you a bigger piece of shit because something might trigger somebody and you don't fucking know. The easier
Something
route is
might trigger
no.
somebody.
The
You're
easier
absolutely
route
correct.
is to not fucking cave to every person that asks.
We need
Like,
a council of stellar sense.
the society,
hold on.
the society will
me
take care of
fucking
itself.
understand this right. So you are
New
saying I can't be a
subscriber.
dumb fucking bitch because like other people can be offended?
We got two. Excavate, thanks for the
No.
sub a while ago, and then
It's
Eve
not like
Clavis,
that.
thanks for
You're
the
so
sub.
fucking
Sorry,
foolish,
guys, go.
it's painful.
I think he's German.
Who
actually.
pretends that they're on after us? Who
He's not.
pretends that they are on after
Oh
us?
my God! Shut your whore mouth, Dirk. You know it's me.
See, I told you you're
Pretender.
Canadian. You're easy to
Pretender.
dismiss.
Yeah, well, fuck.
I don't get you, man. Like, are you telling
What if
me
we-
I
what
can't
if we
be
had a
fucking
player-driven
cunt
committee
and
who was-
people are
who-
bad or what?
My show, and you have to
That's not what
admit, has
anybody's
turned
saying.
into the Open Comms after show. Like, I don't even
It's
really
called
get a
After
show
Dark.
anymore.
Thank
See,
you.
I find
Yeah,
your show
no.
offensive, and I think you should cancel it because it triggers
Seriously.
me.
It
My
does
show,
trigger me.
my show triggers you.
The word open
Trigger.
comms
You need to
reminds
get
me of two
thicker
girls,
fucking
one cup.
skin,
I
man.
need you to fucking
Wow,
fix
Oh,
exactly.
God.
What are you fucking crying about? Just let it happen. Like, get some fucking thick skin. Welcome to the internet. Welcome to not everybody feeds your fucking feelings.
Damn!
Wow,
You-
damn.
Wait. What about
I find you
fucking
too
Malcolm
Canadian.
Gladwell
what about
is
just
free.
having some standards though? What about having standards, right? Because
Fuck your standards.
maybe
There's a
this
difference
isn't.
between standards of
No,
saying,
well-
like, hey, don't force, like, rape jokes on people, and then standards of, wow, stop being offended by fucking every little piece of shit people say.
Not every little, but some, right? Not everything is offensive.
Some,
but-
as though, like, if I were to say, hey, baby, I'm going to shove my dick in your ass, like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
that's-
that implies rape.
Yeah,
But
that's
if you
over
say,
the line.
hey, man, just let it happen as I'm blowing
That's
up
not
your shit.
implying
Like,
rape
that's
because the
not
other person
rape.
may be like, okay.
that is
Well,
not
or if they asked
Are
for it in
you
the first
actually
place.
holding me responsible?
Like
for the
verbally
things that
asked for it.
happened
Jesus,
in
don't
this
don't
comms?
take that the wrong
Yes,
way.
During
because
my show.
Canadians are
Joking,
into pegging.
Canadian. I'm making a point though, right? Like if you cry
You're
about
fired.
every single little fucking thing, like get over it. It's the
That's
internet.
not
It's
every
always
little
been this way.
single thing, though.
No,
This is,
but it is.
That's
Like,
for us,
if,
though.
If
That's
I know
for us,
something
though.
makes me upset, I will avoid it. If I know fucking watching dogs getting beaten, I'm not gonna fucking YouTube. Hey, let me watch dogs getting.
You know
beaten
what I
by
do every
dogs."
once in a while just to
That's
get
you.
real
Just
fucking
Just-
mad?
What if you're
Yeah,
the company?
YouTube caters
What if
to
you
my
were the
fucking
company?
feelings.
You can't not watch the Humane Society commercials, okay? I don't know
I
anybody that
I
can turn those
literally
off.
They're
don't
bad
watch
because they make
the
me
Angels
feel like an
Oh, those are
asshole
terrible.
when
They
I'm
make me feel
not.
like
They're
shit,
the
and I've
worst,
never
and it's
seen
always
one.
what's that song they always play them too?
Amazing
You know,
Grace or
Angel?
something like that.
That's how I usually feel
Yeah.
after
Arms
open
of an
comms.
Angel, and I know
Look
this
at all
because I've
these
seen
Arms
them
of
and
an
I've
Angel,
heard
yeah.
them
in
every
here.
fucking time.
I don't hold
Hey.
Pog Sullivan responsible for anything that anybody says in this channel, but I do hold him responsible for playing Conan last week or the week before and having
Oh,
his fucking
Conan's so
dick out
good.
and squatting over a fire.
Yeah, well,
This is
I
one of the
Fucking
stopped-
righteous prick.
I stopped the nudity on the Conan because Skeptic was upset.
Can I link an image of my Conan guy?
This is one of the things that was said to me yesterday in Talking in Stations.
Well,
in
you didn't want the
Talking
channel
in
to get in
Stations
trouble.
Discord,
Not upset,
okay?
but you know what I mean.
Talking in
just didn't wanna
Stations Discord,
test
there was somebody
the
from
system.
Switzerland, okay, who was saying, you know what, this is not a fucking big deal to us over here. We don't have this kind of thing. Other people were like, you know what, yeah, I mean, this is not the big deal.
Okay, there was massive cocks everywhere.
Eve is a global game. Eve is a global game, right?
Zell loved
and
it.
what might be completely offensive in a place like Germany, or potentially even fucking against the law, or what is offensive in, say, the United States, is something that CCP as a company needs to balance. Not because of some fucking social justice warrior bullshit, but because they are a company that does not want to alienate more people than what they have to in letting this go on. They shouldn't.
So
As
did
a
you
fucking
support
company,
them?
they shouldn't. Yes, yes, I supported them revoking that name because we all know what Eve players mean by that. But even if we don't, what can it be construed as? I am not going to get into the mentality of what somebody meant. It doesn't matter what they meant.
They're
What
looking
matters
after
is-
their own.
So yeah, here was the conversation over the intention of the name. Was the intent to say, yeah, this is going to be the physical action of me raping somebody?
Your
Or was
intent
it
does not matter. The only thing
It's
that matters
a
is
PR
what it
thing.
might be
It's a PR
construed
thing. They're like-
by in terms of PR.
If they
and all
let
that, yeah.
something like that
Okay,
happen,
the CCP
and they're gonna look really
CCP
bad for
doesn't
it, they're gonna
ban
get rid of it.
people for typing 1488 in gas in a cargo
Yep.
container. They better not fucking ban
Exactly.
people for fucking having just
And
let
this
it
is
happen.
exactly
or gee,
what I
don't know,
said.
How about my alliance of fucking Confederation of Pizza, where the logo was literally the Confederate flag and the logo of a pizza with the fucking main course
Mashed together.
being Lynch Squad, where they had to change it to Love Squad because people were so upset about
This
it.
is where, for
Like,
those of you who weren't
cannot
around
do
back at
that.
the time, okay, CCP went wrong in 2013 when they actually made the changes to their EULA terms of service, or wherever the fuck this is located out there. They did not enforce it at the time. They did not clear their database of names like Anal Annihilator and fucking Anal Anally and Al Qaeda and all this kind of fucking shit, right? They didn't clean out the low hanging fruit. So now they literally have no leg to stand on when they want to extrapolate what something means. So this has made it way harder for them to be able to enforce whatever policy it is that they want to have. So I understand, yes, maybe they should have backed down now because of their failures of the past, but in backing down now, have they drawn a line in the sand that says, hey, you can come this close up to it? How about something like, I don't know, forcible entry, or I'll take it because I want to, or would it? All
That
of
was
these
a
things
corp
that
name I
we
used
as
to be in was
e-players
forceful
can make
entry.
up. Exactly.
Things
and
that are
this is CCP's fuck up for not having dealt with this when they actually wrote the policy. If you're gonna write a policy, deal with it. Otherwise, don't write the fucking policy, monkeys.
There are ones. What was it earlier?
Can't say monkeys.
I think it was in the Skype channel here earlier. A name that was mentioned without permission. It's like that. Like things like that is such. That's such a. I was gonna say that's such a vague one. It's like, could you take it in that sense? Yes, but there's a million connotations that could be used in that has nothing to do with rape, and so. Yeah, I understand.
I mean, the
that.
corp name I was in forceful entry, and it was implied, but it was never illicit. So that those
And
are the two
Regulus
terms, I
Local,
think.
not that fucking drunk. I'm gonna. Tell
No,
you
we
right
haven't
now,
drank that
I
much
can
tonight.
sit there and debate this shit. You know,
Nope.
I actually brought it up. I'm gonna find it. Hold on, wait. Nope, that's not it. That's some stupid thing about.
Oh, we're
fucking
2 minutes
local
over.
shit on the Eve News 20. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
What?
drunk Canadian.
Situation no change.
Yeah, we're
Fuck.
over DC.
Last
Who
week,
fucking cares?
What is absolutely fucking amusing about this conversation is last week in the fucking late show when I thought we were just talking on the fucking backstage and whatnot. I think it was Drayden or somebody else brought up an article that I wrote in 2013.
What?
I'm linking it right now out there in
Someone start
in
singing.
the thing. When the changes to the fucking like naming conventions happened out there, I wrote an article about it. It was back when I cared enough about Eve to actually write a fucking article, and it was called Dirk McGurk Regulators Mount Up, because You know what? This
Yeah,
this
it's
is
in-
the whole thing
it's in the
about like,
chat.
those of us that those of us as players are the regulators in this. When you see something, say something, because they're not
Calm
going
down,
to do it on their
TSA.
own.
Well, somebody said something, right? I mean, isn't that what happened?
Well, no.
No. That article was
that's
written in
exactly what
response to the fact that CCP said they were going to crack down
Yeah, I don't think it was
on inappropriate names, and they changed a handful of names. But then Dirk wrote the article because I think it was like a month after the
I
fact.
wrote
He's
the
like, these
article,
names
I
are still
swear
in the
to God.
game, and they haven't changed them.
Hindsight being 2020, okay? That article right there about bad names, whether they be character names, corporation names, alliance names, the names of what you name the structures in your pause, okay? Was so vast of what people named like really bad shit out there or stuff that would violate it. Today, it's like the immigration law of our time. Like, are you willing to like, deport all of these people? Are you willing to fucking like Caldari Citizen 219654 every one of these things because it does violate what it is you say?
First of all,
they trumped way before Trump.
That example is like, okay, it's funny, whatever, but there's a lot of people being hurt out there by that stuff.
Right.
Just so you know, like it's a
By the
it's a
name?
You mean
real
their
thing.
feelings?
By the name
No,
thing
I'm
or
not-
like the Trump comparison?
Oh, the immigration issue and stuff.
It's the same fucking thing.
Hold
people
on,
were
hold
dreamers.
on.
Wait.
I'm the perfect
Illegal
master for
immigration?
immigration things, right? Just ask me, I can solve every problem.
Where are your papers, Zell? Or actually, are you in Germany?
He's the one that asked for papers.
Oh.
What? No, I have my own ready, and I'm doing stuff. What? Hello?
Could you just say that? Where are your papers?
No, he can't say that.
Do it.
Where are you papers? Give me your papers.
All right. We're 5 minutes over now. We gotta end. Now, hold on.
I literally went through I literally went through
right,
this
Derek.
article, right? And the first thing was Palestinian Liberation Organization, which is against their EULA. But so is the CEO of that organization, which also still exists, Jew Oven.
Wow.
Jew oven burn.
What?
So I'm sorry. Look, if you're going to crack down on tangential stuff, which is exactly what prior to the casino war, prior to the casino ban years ago, the Summer Blink thing, and this is why we actually need people who know history of fucking Eve that have been around for at least a while and seen the mistakes of the past and all that kind of shit. We need them to stick around. Back when they went after Summer Blink, it was tangential. It wasn't like actual real money trading. It was how can you dot the fucking lines from here to there and come back again?
You're being
It's the
Eve
same
ageist.
thing.
I'm gonna have to ask you to
Knows
stop.
he's-
Well,
knows
hold
he's-
on.
Because some of
Knows
you
he'll
are fucking
disagree
like
with you in a second.
young'uns.
Hold on.
Young'uns.
We gotta end the stream. I'm sure we can all stay on. DC lets us take over his stream. I don't know.
As
Yeah,
per
whatever.
usual.
But anyway,
No.
we'll do a shot
Just
for the
tell
road,
us
and then
when you're coming
we
in
gotta
and let
call
us
it
know
quits
that
and
we're talking.
get drunk Canadian. What are you playing tonight, DC?
Honestly, like you guys might as well go like another 10 minutes because I still need to figure that out.
Yeah, I got a
Oh,
topic, Grass. I wanted to know how you felt about adversity being in PL now. How's that working? out?
They're doing all right.
Wow.
Like to be fair, they had, and I was one of the chief people that were against them joining.
We just did
They
ours.
we've done some things to clean certain parts of PL up in certain ways.
Wait, is Dirk out of PL?
I mean, as long as they stay in their own
Yeah,
channel.
he hasn't been in PL for a month or two.
No,
That
it
was
wasn't a
part of the
fucking month or
cleanup.
two. It
Where are
wasn't
you
a
now?
month or two. My bro let me get over the fucking remorse I had over fucking BC and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, he's welcome to stay as long as he wanted.
Yeah. I left on my own fucking accord.
Well, right, I
because
wasn't saying you were
he's
kicked
a hard
out. I was just saying
I
like
was not contributing enough to be in an organization like that.
He self-deported. There's my.
Well, I was
joke.
saying,
did
but
self-deport.
So-
I wasn't
But-
saying anything. I wasn't saying the
term.
reason you left. I was just saying
Wow.
it's been a month or two since you've been in PL.
Our
It's actually
comms have been known to be
3
pretty
weeks
wild
or so
for like
since I've been in
years,
PL.
and we kind of made an active attempt to clean it up. Basically, is what it amounted to, and it's been going on for like some time now, and I feel like it actually got a lot of got a place. Got a lot of really bad race jokes and dumb shit like that. The worst thing we had to deal with was a big Donald Trump following. Imagine that.
That was hold on. When you say a big Donald Trump following, do you mean Doom Chinchilla had more than like 3 alts?
I don't think Doom's a Trump fan at all. Doom works for the
I thought he
government.
was.
He's not allowed to have an
Wasn't
opinion.
like
Like his job is
oh,
to
he
not
can't
have an opinion.
That's a different story.
So, but anyway, so I actually Doom, not just me, Doom Chinchilla kind of stood in the way of that corp coming in because it wasn't, as a Jewish guy, Doom probably is not like that big fond of that many gas chamber jokes in his general direction. And they kind of humiliated themselves during the tournament by doing dumb shit like that. And it just wasn't something at the state they were in. Like, I don't want to hear a cop come tell me stories about how he did violence to minorities in one of my old neighborhoods and shit like that, where I have buddies to, like, tell me stories about killing dudes that I might know or whose family I might be friends with in that area. That's not, and like, like you're proud of that shit.
Grath, we don't need you talking about
Like,
how you.
No,
grew up
I mean,
in
I'm just saying,
Ferguson
like that.
or,
There's a
how the
guy.
shots
There
rang
was a
out.
dude in their corp that he's a fucking cop up in like
just saying.
not
I'm
PG
just
County,
saying.
like Silver Spring or some shit like that. And like
We're trying
that's
to
not
hold
some
it
shit
down
that I
here.
want
We're
to
trying
like.
to hold
I
it
get
to,
you.
like,
I get you.
a
I get you. But
copacetic kind of like
okay, shut
only
the fuck
Dirk
up.
can fuck up.
Holy shit. Anyway, so they removed some of the people that we thought were a larger problem, and we agreed to give them a shot. And so far, other than a few tragic losses, I mean, like losing a jump freighter is
Grath
pretty
called
much
shots.
Losing a jump freighter is pretty much
Drayden, Grath
like
called
entry
shots.
cost
He
for
said
joining
shots.
PL.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So they actually
Shots.
adversity
Shoot,
had to remove some guys in order to make it in.
I mean, I don't think necessarily like had to was
Weight
like they
livers
didn't
matter.
like nobody's gonna say. I mean, like yeah, they probably basically couldn't join with the people that were as bad as they were. One of them, like especially the scanner, he's just not a good person.
Yeah, he's been kicked out of NC a couple times.
Yeah, so it's I mean like, and so yeah, all we asked was, I don't want to read it, I don't want to hear it, and I don't want to see it. And if that's something that you think you can manage, and that I have, like Brian Levine, he's 17, he's black, he's from New Jersey. I don't want him to have to read that kind of dumb shit from you people, especially not from fat, pasty white motherfuckers in like Jersey and Connecticut and shit like that.
Whoa,
What about Idaho?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
they're down.
Defend your people.
I'm a fat,
Like-
pasty
like,
white dude in
so-
Idaho. What about that?
And they, yeah,
I've
yeah.
sat
So,
there and supported my man Matterall out in California from Connecticut, for a long time. But I am not going to accept some guy from Minnesota,
not from Minnesota. You're going to accept it because I'm from
I don't
Baltimore.
know.
How about that?
Okay,
Got more
fine.
credibility.
But see, this is
Maryland,
back to the
you
rape
know.
culture. You're going to take what I give you and you're going to smile about it. And that's what I'm
Let it happen, Raph.
God damn it. So, yeah. So, but like they had to, but they did, and they've tried. They like went out of their way. Like a couple of them wrote me like fairly long-winded posts telling me about what the good parts of what they saw, and some other people in PL pushed pretty hard for them. Like Ron's a big fan of theirs, and it's not that I don't ignore that. It's just that at some point,
Ron Mexico.
your usefulness can be outweighed by your
Ron
toxicity.
Mexico?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ron loves them.
Well, not Ron Muslim. Ron Mexico. He's Ron Muslim might be.
He said
a
Ron
totally
knows
different
them. Ron,
Yeah, I said-
Oh,
Wow.
I'm sorry. I thought you said Ron Muslim. But
Okay.
Ron Mexico,
Which
though,
is like
right?
Ron Mexico. But anyway,
It's
Ron
all
Muslim had to be
it's like,
vetted,
it's
so
like
you
everything
get
is
him.
crisscrossed nowadays.
and I had a bunch of people that like were super sketchy when they finally did join. They're like, "Are we really letting them join?" I'm like, "We're really going to give them a shot and see how it goes." We took Demon and some Australian strays at the same time. We'll see. Put them all in the nerd pit and see who survives. This happens every once in a while. We'll boil
Did
it
this
back down.
happen in early Eve?
What? This has always happened. People always like alliances always cannibalize what's around them.
They do, but like the whole fucking ethnic part of a global game. Did it happen as much back then?
I think there was more self-segregation. Like there's a Russian element that kind of stuck together. The Europeans kind of stuck together. Americans kind of stuck together early on. At least that's the way that Hilmar described it. Early
The hardest for the Australians.
I feel like
'cause
I'm
there's not a lot of
totally getting
Australians
way
who don't
too
want to hit
talking in
other
stations.
Australians.
Yeah, there's a few precious few Australians.
And they never
Very
pass up a
precious
chance
few.
to kick their own ass. So like, it's good to like I don't know. I don't know anything about these Avarice guys, Pure Avarice or whatever, but I guess Dan Sara knows a lot about them and deals with them
You
at
checked
times.
into them, though, right?
No, I didn't actually at
They're-
all. Like
they're
Dan's
not infiltrating our shit.
I figured they let Dan hold like hundreds of millions of dollars for a real life job. He might not be dumb, so I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that he checked and it's all good. Never came back to bite anybody in the ass before, right?
APIs matter.
You know what happens when you assume.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
it's
funny.
interesting to know all that, Grath.
Snigs like has we have a team of dudes who basically handle new recruits and stuff like that, and they actually just went through all of both corps by themselves over like the past 2 weeks. That's pretty much a Herculean task in and of itself.
Damn.
Oh, they vetted him by going through the courts and checking
Yeah,
it
they
out.
went through. No, they treated him like they would any new member, and like went through and bone picked every single. Yeah, it's a lot of dudes, and some of like I couldn't even imagine somebody doing that. We have a guy in Snig that had like 12 accounts. I'm not fucking with that. Is one of them a spy? I don't know. Let him in anyway.
If the primary is cool, let them all in.
I don't know about ethnicity, but in terms of the European contingent,
Hey,
then
we
yeah,
live
they were
this
always
season in
fragmented.
Eve.
You had the Romanians, you had the French, you had the Poles and the Hungarians, and they all did their own thing, and they were all pretty dangerous people.
Can I make a sheep sound? I feel like I need to make a sheep sound.
And of course, you've got Evoke
That was
German.
weak. It's gotta be stronger,
Sorry,
Zell.
bro. Sorry.
So somebody make a grunt
With a
sound
German
and then make a sheep
accent.
sound.
Why don't
Well,
you do
got
like the
fraternity. They're
screaming
they're
goats?
a Chinese community, and then what is it? Calderis Alliance. That's Japanese community.
Yeah, right. That's some bad blood there, right?
That's what's cool about the Japanese community. I mean, literally nobody has ever said, "Hey, you know what? In the last 3 years, somebody like fucking kamikazed our ass."
I think there's a story of a Korean guy. Let's see if I have this right. No, a Japanese guy who refers to a Korean alliance as a her, just constantly feminizing them.
No, that's fucking Wind Spirits from Fraternity, and that's how he talks about Calderis Alliance. Like during the Halloween War, they were doing so much good shit that we were trying to figure out like a way to reward these guys. You know, we had all this drone region space, so I'm like, "Do you need some space to go rat in?" And Wind Spirits is like, "No, we have space." I'm like, "Did you need some safer space?" He goes, "Well, if I put my men back from the front lines, how will they have a fighting edge?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm trying to give you something and even you're not."
Safer space.
I'm trying to give you something for free and even you're not taking it. I'm like, "All right, do you want some moons?" He goes, "Well, I could probably only realistically take care of 2 or 3." And I'm like, I was prepared to give him like 15. And I'm like, "Okay, well, what about Calderis Alliance? You kind of do all the talking for
when you
them
say
too."
Okay, did you say, "Look, you can handle 15 because the rest of the alliance will be behind you"? Or,
No, he
"Oh
died.
shit! If
Fuck.
all you can handle is 15, fuck you."
Yeah, no, I give him what he asked for.
Racist.
Like he was so good. Like, and then I'm like, what about Calderis Alliance? And he's like, "Well, no, she hasn't really earned much." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Well, do they need some moons?" He goes, "Well, she's not really up for moons right now." I'm like, this motherfucker keeps talking about these people in a female perspective. Like, this is his bitch. It is the weirdest thing I like.
This
I was
game
the
is
weirdest
totally a
conversation.
bitch, is it
I
not?
love Wind Spirits for it. He's such an awesome guy.
It's like I like his approach to moderation, not taking more than he can handle.
Yeah, that was wild for me. Like that.
Oh my
was,
god, that bitch was fucking crazy. But you know what? Just give me a little fucking Black Ops.
I got like mad respect for that dude forever because he knew what he knew. He had a better idea than what I thought his value was, and he wasn't going to take more or less than that. I'm like, "Here's 15 moons." He's like, "No, I need 3." And I'm like, "Well, here, give them to him." "No, she's a bitch. She don't need nothing. I'll give it all to her." Like, holy fuck.
That's one of the best stories. That's best underreported stories that's out there.
It's one of
let
my
me ask you a
favorite
question as an
interactions
interviewer.
ever.
What's that?
Have you interviewed Grath Telkin from the bottom up?
I don't know what that means, but
Well, I mean, that thing that you did for the Matani that made him sound like I'm just a normal guy. Have you done that for Grath Telkin?
yeah, Grath was actually my second invite. I invited Matani first because he was an interview I wanted to get for a long time to just try to deal with him as a human. The second interview was Grath, and we couldn't make it happen. And
There you go.
Boat came up, and so I did an interview with Boat, but Grath is still. I told him earlier today we still have to find time for you to spend an hour together.
I'm going to Vegas for a week this year, I think. So our plan right now.
Oh,
is just
stop
to
it.
be there
Is that in
for 5
October?
days.
Why are you
Oh.
retracting us fucking
Yeah.
earlier, Graf?
Well, I'm not going to Iceland because it's fucking Iceland, and I
Because
live
it's
in
fucking
goddamn
Iceland.
Duluth,
Come on,
Minnesota,
yeah.
which is a lot like.
I would like to
you know,
go to
Iceland with more
Iceland, but
trees.
I just don't want to go to Iceland for the cost it would take to go. Like that would be a $3,000 vacation.
It's
for
really
me.
not bad, really.
It's really not bad.
I'm sure it's
I'll
not
tell you
bad,
that.
and I'm-
Wait,
but I'm-
literally, it's the food. It's the
I'm down
food.
as fuck to go in
Many
July.
Americans, it's the food.
Well, I don't want to eat like sheep's jaw or whatever the fuck they have there. But
Take tons of
They have
fucking hot
normal
dogs
food,
then.
dum-dum.
I know they have normal food, but like some of the stuff, like, oh, check this out. We had this at the CCP office. I look at like, that looks like a jawbone. It is. It's a sheep's jaw. I'm not eating that
vomit right
shit.
on the
You can eat
table.
the shark
That
meat.
shit.
But
Yeah, I already
the
heard
fermented
stories about
shark
this
meat.
rotted shark shit. That's not coming anywhere near me.
yeah, no. It's like I'll eat normal food, but I mean,
You're
I
gonna
like
bring
I like
rotten shark
fish.
to my table while I'm trying to eat. It better come with a fucking armed escort because I'm.
Yeah, it's
gonna
like
be violent when
I
get
like
there.
fish. I know they have a lot of that there, but I mean, like, I'm sure they have beef and all that stuff there too. It's like I'm not eating the weird. Like
Lamb.
that's with any. I mean, every country has their weird. If I go to France, I'm not fucking eating snails. I don't like fuck that. I'm not eating snails. I'm not. If I
Yeah.
go to
Biggest
Japan,
delicacies
I'm
are
not
lamb
eating
and fish.
octopus.
Brilliant.
Nobody's saying that you need to.
I'm not saying that I.
Shit, bro.
Oh my god!
If I-
I'm not
if I
saying
can
they
get-
say I
if
have
I
to. I'm
can-
just
if I can
saying
get,
that
like,
I'm
a
not eating the
cheeseburger,
weird
I'm gonna
cuisine.
get shit.
Steakhouse in Las
Pump
Vegas.
the
I want
brakes.
everything that hits my table to be fucking food I will eat.
Right.
Okay? And that goes for Las Vegas as well as it does if I go to fucking FanFest. Do not even lay fucking sheep's fucking jaw or like quail testicle or whatever on my fucking plate. Don't
That-
do it.
Speaking of testicles, that's always a good way to start a comment. There is a thing actually close to where I've never
'Cause
gone there.
passed
I
up
never
shit at
will.
That fucking place in Vegas last year, and all of it was like some semblance of red meat.
I'm saying there's weird customs up where I live, not in Idaho, but over in Montana. They have a thing every year called the Testicle Festival. And
Testicle Festival, my
Yes,
Yeah.
Drayden, you live in Idaho.
no,
Fucking
this is a
nuts
Montana
rule.
thing. This is even more backwater than Idaho. But the Testicle Festival
It's always
is
someone to
something
look
where
down
people
on.
from all over the country gather, and it's a whole thing, and they eat a bunch of Rocky Mountain oysters, which is basically cow
You're
balls.
nuts.
It's bull balls. It's like they eat
You love it.
nuts off of a
Yeah.
bull, and
You're fucking crazy about it.
I've never gone there, and I
What the
never
fuck is
will.
wrong with
Why have
sweet
you
bread?
never done that in open comms? Why have you never?
Why have I
been-
never
Drayden
eaten
tonight
balls
is
on a
gonna eat
comms?
An entire fucking plate of bull balls while on this episode.
Because I would throw up looking at them. I like. There's no way I'm
Bullshit!
putting.
You're a fucking nut eye. You're from
I
that
would
area.
never put nuts in my mouth.
Are you
lie.
sure?
You're a
Like,
fucking
I'm
liar.
pretty sure you like
Maybe
balls.
you just
lie.
haven't met the right pair of nuts.
Well, I mean,
Exactly. Oh, wait.
Well, who said pair though?
well,
Right?
Zell's in Germany, so I mean,
Yeah.
Oh.
Zell's all about nut pairs. You're just about a nut. Period.
yeah, like no one's touching my tra-la-la unless it's Zell.
What the
Nobody's
fuck?
saying eat your own fucking balls.
Wow, you just outed yourself with that.
Holy, he just said.
Drayden, I guess, has a
Way to
thing
go.
for Zell.
No, it's just
Actually, I have a thing for Zell. I'm gonna
yeah.
be completely
Who
honest.
doesn't?
Yo,
Ever
Dirk,
since the first time I
fucking
met
love
the
you.
guy.
Yeah, who doesn't
Dirk,
have
who
a
don't
thing
you
for
have
Zell?
a thing for? Come on. Like,
Hashtag-
I
bro.
do not have a thing for you,
You're
you
fucking
fucking like
loose.
giant
You're loose
quad
as a
looking
fucking
motherfucker.
goose.
Okay?
All right.
Hurry.
I gotta go.
All right. No, Matterall. We're not
All right,
deporting
I'll
you
say
yet.
something.
Don't. I'm not gonna fucking like self-deport you.
Oh my god.
All right, but
What?
Zell, on the other hand, every fucking alliance out there needs a Zell. They need that guy where they sit there and go, fuck yes. That
like a
is
junior?
Yeah,
our
wait, it's a
fucking
fucking
flamboyant
pleb
Milo
speaking to me,
motherfucker.
motherfucker. Huh? Who the fuck are you? Huh?
You are the
I'm gonna
fucking
fuck you
best.
over,
I
bitch.
swear. Ah, my God. You and me with one show. You and me, Dirk and fucking Zell. Dirk and Zell. That would be a show right there. It would.
Yep.
It's got the right amount of syllables.
Dirk and Zell.
Next up on center stage, it's the
What the
Dirk
shit?
and Zell show.
The Dirk and
I can see him
Zell
coming out with
show.
no shirts and just like glittery vests on.
Exactly. You know, it's
What-
like, you know,
what-
whatever.
what do you
I've got
mean
leather. He's
clothes?
got
No,
glitter.
No clothes, man.
Like
no.
Milli
They're
Vanilli.
Just going all
Sparkle
naked.
party.
Oh my God, we would be the
Sparkle
Billy
party.
Vanilli of Eve. That is so fucking outstanding. Lip
Oh.
syncing would be our shit, and like, you know, whatever. I mean, it would be fucking outstanding. And
Hey,
Graf would be like, "Hey, whatever.
Oh my God.
I'm with this.
I can't believe I forgot to say something, but I'm conducting CSM interviews. I wrote everybody that's on the list.
Oh, shit.
CSM.
How's that been going?
I've knocked out about 12 so far.
Are they
uh,
retarded?
Don't
There's
vote for
some-
anybody.
There's
Fuck
some
them
good
all.
ones.
Can't say that.
I had a Russian guy, and I was like, "Are you loading a gun?" Because I was listening to him jingle something around.
Yeah, because he was on the Ukrainian
You got something
border.
against guns?
No, I just jumped to that conclusion because he was Russian, and it was funny.
That's racist.
That's fucking
Hashtag
horrible,
make guns
bro.
great again.
I just wish I could get a pool of voters one time
Was
to
he
stand
like-
up for
was he like,
themselves
"Hey,
and not
you
vote for
hauling
any of the
fucking
garbage
pot
trash
over the
put forward.
border?"
What's your idea of a candidate, Grath, that worth voting for?
None. There's none. The concept of the thing is a joke.
What about that like semi-German guy that like ran all kinds of shit from the casino war until like now?
How can anybody be like a semi-German guy? There's only a true
Yeah.
master, right?
Well, because I'm not sure if he was actually German or
There
like
you
Dutch
go.
or something like that.
Bro,
Well, anyway,
there's no semi-German.
So I've interviewed
Zell,
about
even blonde
12.
hair.
I got called out for being annoying. It's so sad. That
No,
shit
you're
makes
not
my
an-
fucking that shit makes my fucking hurt feelings.
You're not annoying. You're not.
PS
yeah,
So
hurt
it depends on how
feelings.
drunk you are.
PS hurt feelings was like a total fucking thing for feelings hurt.
So anyway, we're gonna be doing that every night and day for me. So I'll do a little bit in the morning for EU time. I'll do a little bit in the evening for US time zone until the 2nd, which is Thursday coming, and then I'm gonna stop because by then all the stuff will be out Friday, and then you have a couple days to just digest all the stuff. But I'm just
Why
gonna do it
can't we
quickly.
get all of the media and Eve to stop repeating the same old fucking bullshit, except
This-
for whoever the host is?
This
and
hopefully
get
is
together?
different. This is hopefully different. I didn't want to ask them about their platform. I didn't want to just give them a time to talk about what they want to change and stuff like that. I try to trip them up as much as possible and make them human, so you guys can see the actual person that you are going to
It's
send.
not quite angry enough.
You're voting for
I
him.
wish you were more angry, Matterall.
I get in there. I threw some stuff in there, and it'll probably get worse for incumbents because I'm trying to trip them up worse.
I know your original intention was, I'm going to make this adversarial. The fact of the matter is this.
I
There
didn't.
are how many, 61, 62, 63 candidates who we think at this point have actually applied. If you're going to work on this, you got to start from the beginning. You got to start from before you actually know whether or not they've been accepted as a candidate.
Yeah,
Why? The one thing in fucking Eve where we should be able to come together with guys like you, guys like Ashtarothi, with those other people who are doing one-off interviews where none of you, by the end of this, are going to be able to cover everybody. Can we not say, you know what? Look, for the good of Eve, for the good of the community, we're going to run this together. We'll split the
Is
work.
community in quotes in that one?
Well, it probably fucking is. My arms are too lazy right now to fucking raise them and throw it up.
That's
But
a good point.
just
I know where
do
you're going,
it.
Dirk. Yeah.
I've been saying about this whole thing about none of you have anything to offer. Okay. Not period, but
What? What do
No.
you mean by offering?
The Eve media has nothing to offer by being split into these segments that they are, and let me one up this guy or anything like that.
Yeah. No, it's stupid. And
Especially regarding the CSM. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one of the things where we should want people like the people that want to be involved with this from year to year, get involved, but group up, do it as a unit. Don't waste time. Because we've had guys on this show, you've had guys on your podcast so far. Ashtarothi's done a few,
Yeah.
Jeff Rader, I think, did some people.
They will this
And then-
weekend. Yeah.
and they are. This weekend is going to be this debate shit, which I have no fucking faith in. Not because of anything other than nobody owes anything to this process more than what they're willing to give.
Well, here's the reason that it's done this way. What I did was I couldn't decide because I didn't want to pick people, and the people who are willing to do the interviews are usually people who need the exposure. So I didn't want to pick the people who didn't need the exposure because it seemed kind of unfair, right? Because they're the ones that are more popular. So I just sent an email to every one of them saying, you may not need this, but if you do, it's here. You catch me when you can. I'm not making any appointments because it's impossible for me to try to interview 62 people. And if I were to share the burden with Ashtarothi or you or other people, I would love to do that. But that organization didn't happen. I didn't know Ashtarothi was actually going to do interviews until recently. Otherwise, we could say, you know what, you take.
Well, he
these
would
guys
have
or whatever.
because you know what? Normally he would have worked with you, but because of the fucking INN versus CZ thing, he won't.
He's always welcome to work with me and anybody.
No, he's always welcome, but he won't because of the goddamn fucking Chinese Trump wall that got built between all this shit.
It's
Isn't
stupid.
it
You know what?
Mexican?
All we want is a public fucking service out there from the goddamn people in the Eve media to do this shit, put out some goddamn stuff from these people who have no chance of winning except for a few. Why are you killing yourself in trying to do a public service? Why is Ashtarothi? Why are any of these people? Bring it together. Why are you people so non-economically efficient?
It's not because it's not. I'm only going to do whatever the capacity is for me to do it. I'm not trying to get them all. I'm just trying to get the ones that actually need the exposure or whatever. I would have totally joined into anything. Actually, I didn't start this off on my own. I went to CSM Watch to work with them since I thought they were going to do
late.
No, I was in there months ago.
I think you were late to the actual process.
Wait, real quick. Can you
was in
hold
there
that
months
thought,
ago, though.
Matterall?
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna pass it off to Drunk Canadian. He's ready to go. As soon as he fires his stream up, then we can continue this. But all right, so that's
We
it
can
for
talk
us.
about the media war.
You were early in planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour a shot for the road, and then we're gonna close the stream, and we're gonna pass it off to DC.
Shot for the road.
Did you figure out what you're playing, DC?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna just do some Counter Strike because
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't decide.
Wait, do I need to watch you
Counter-Strike,
fucking
bro,
lab shoot
seriously.
people? And you're fucking bad at it?
Listen, Zell, you're welcome to come in and show me how.
Oh, we're
good you
doing the
are.
bottle one.
Yeah,
All right,
bro,
I'll do the
if
bottle
I would
one.
have money, I would buy this fucking
Oh,
game.
Dirk.
but I'm
Oh,
poor.
Dirk.
I'll
No,
fucking-
Dirk.
I'll
Yeah.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
buy it
Get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
God, I gotta match that now.
that's going to explode like a volcano.
Good night, Dirk.
All
Sorry,
right, so
man.
we should do
I
this.
didn't match it.
Is this a later
I got
bitches?
a regular.
This is all right. So we're heading out later,
I'm keeping
bitches.
the
P.S.
TeamSpeak
I'm,
open
like,
though.
drunk now.
I'm keeping it open, and you guys can keep doing your thing.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I'm just closing the stream
no.
here, and then he's gonna
We're
open
not
up.
here to fucking augment your stream. You be the man on your stream.
Oh, what? Who are you? Who is this
All right,
fucking
well-
guy?
Okay. All right. We're out of here. Later, bitches.
I gotta run.
Later,
Stick
bitches.
around.
You guys
Drunk
are-
Canadian.
Told you
Later,
what.
bitches.
Drunk Canadian's coming up in like a minute or two, and then we'll be back, I guess.